We are live on Pop Culture Breakdown. It is great to see you all here, my friends. Welcome. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and I'm in a world-destroying kind of mood today, folks. After the Acolyte and after the finale of Dr. Not, or Doctor Who, as some still call it, naively perhaps, or Doctor Who gives a shit, or who gives a fuck. It was awful. Oh my God. You think, just when you think Doctor Who couldn't suck any worse, after, the maestro crawling out of a fucking piano, you got, the doctor, and Rogue's, torrid love affair and all this crap. They get to the end and it just fizzles out. It was all a crock of shit. Echoes of Lost, ladies and gentlemen. Echoes of Lost. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about The Acolyte. We're going to talk about Disney's latest woes with various disclosures out there that have really put Disney in kind of a hypocritical light when it comes to wokeness. I think it's hilarious. We're going to talk about that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce our panel of pop culture pundits for tonight. We have, at the top of the batting order, Gary Ambrosia. Hail, Gary. How are you, my friend?
Hail, Doomcock. Yeah, I know you're having a rough week, buddy, but let's have some fun tonight, tearing apart this absolute dog shit that you forced us to watch this week.
Son of a... Well, I watched it too.
Yes,
and,
you did.
And oh my God, it was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, good God, these fucking idiots, these morons, these contemptible scum, cultural vandals. It's just, I mean, I can't, there's nothing, I can't say anything worse than the reality. So,
right.
I mean, it just sucks when you can't insult this shit because it's so fucking bad that any insult that you say is pretty much a fucking compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the relative fucking truth of the matter. Oh, I have a nice tall glass of Elijah Craig small batch bourbon here, my friends, and we're gonna be drinking that throughout the show. We've got Robert Wright of Gen X pop culture fame. Hail, Robert Wright. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, but I'm trying to find out what drugs these people were on that wrote this crap. I mean, gosh, we're gonna go through it, but man, is it bad. I mean, I think high school kids or even preschool kids could write better than this.
Oh yeah, I've seen more narrative integrity and some third grade drawings of the kid that kind of wore army camo to class, drawing blocks with turrets on it going pew pew and like little red crayon explosions everywhere. Much more narrative thought in there than into a typical episode of Doctor Who. Doug Nelson, aka Mr. Nailson. Apparently Doug survived watching the Doctor Who finale, which we're going to talk about in a minute. How you doing, Doug? And how did you fucking do it, man?
I don't know. I guess I developed some severe sympathies for Sutek. I never thought that would happen. But, poor guy, I mean, and that's no way to treat a dog. I mean, that was animal abuse. The way Doctor Who's dragging him through the time vortex and all that. It was awful.
I know, man. Watching this shit, I don't know why anyone was left watching this shit except dogged determination. But I guess, Whovians are, they figure in for a penny, in for a pound, or dog pound, as the case might be. Allow me to pause for effect before I say any more puns. And we've got Mike of Mexican Iron Man, not a YouTuber. Hey, Mike, how did you survive Doctor Who today or this week?
Bro, I can't wait to get into this one. I'm hot. I'm ready. And, man, the Latino fire blood is boiling. I was thinking on the way up the stairwell up to here, the studio, to do this show, I was like, they're testing the limits of me even wanting to call myself a Whovian.
Yes. Well,
you know what I mean? It's like they're so bad they almost. It's like anything else. It's like, do you want to like tell the world you're a Star Wars fan? Well, not lately. I don't know, not right now. Kind of
no.
was. Yeah, it was a really good one. And go Team Tenant.
No, fuck.
Thanks
Team
for having
Tenant.
me, my great brother.
You're very welcome. And we have a special guest. We have Scribe Light here. Hail, Scribe Light. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Hail Doomcock, and hail all the denizens of Xanadu. And though I might not be the best Doctor Who fan to be able to comment, I'm a fellow traveler in disappointment when it comes to beloved franchises that end up being taken over by non-fan fiction. And so between Doctor Who and everything Disney's done with Star Wars, you all have my sympathies.
Thank you, Scribe Light. I appreciate that. And to help ease the pain, we have a special guest. We have Tom Connors Jr. of Midnight's Edge fame. Hey, Tom, how are you, sir? Uh-oh. He's all surprised. He didn't know that I had hacked into his webcam and busted him while he was eating a scrumptious meal.
Honestly,
hey, Tom,
I'm not
how's it
sure if this is even food.
going? It doesn't count.
He's gonna. I know the look he's giving me already, but I thought I'd try some Mexican food. The rest of
This
it.
freaking guy down here, Doomcock. This freaking guy, he's eating Mexican pan dulce. That has 2,000 calories in it right there.
I don't think I can eat any more of this.
Is it
Probably the best.
Latinx approved?
This tastes like Acolyte.
It tastes like Acolyte. Excellent. Excellent. I love it. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get to our breakdown, shall we? Well, by request of Echo Base Network, because, the poor dog. What did he do to deserve that?
She's gonna love every second of that. So
I don't know. The dog's going to come back and give it right back to you and say,
she eats cat
"Tastes like Acolyte." And again, I said it's going to bring it back to you and say, "Tastes like Acolyte." So, it's...
What exactly
it's
does Acolyte taste like? Would that be BO and flannel?
something like that.
It would taste like day-old ass after a colonoscopy, after the weekend prep and everything, and you've come out there and even the dog won't sniff it. The dog's like, "No thanks, man."
No, it's reheated chili from a cooking school.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit like that. So what we're going to do is start off with talking about Doctor Who, and I'm going to try not to burn my microphone out. I'm going to try not to yell, but God, when you get to the end of a season and you've built up this big mystery about Ruby Sunday, the legend of Ruby Sunday. Oh, Ruby Sunday is so fucking important that every single fucking episode, wherever she is in time or space, it snows and plays Christmas carols. And who was her mom? Who was her mom? Oh my God, it must be some cosmic secret. When, the maestro was like, "Oh, we can't fuck with her because, she's got this song in her soul that cannot be stilled." And it'll snow in the TARDIS. It'll snow on, planet, buttfuck over in the galaxy. Who gives a shit? And, it'll snow on Napoleon. It'll snow everywhere, and the 73 yards away, that figure keeps away. And it's Ruby Sunday keeping away from herself. And all of it was nothing. All of it was a crock of fucking shit. There was no explanation. There's no reason why it snows. It just does. It just snows sometimes. Some people are like that. What the fuck? What the fuck? And what they did to Sutek, it was, a lot of times I will screen cap episodes, but what is the fucking point of screen capping anything from this fucking episode? Where, all of a sudden Sutek is basically Thanos, only instead of snapping, it's blowing and snapping and blowing. Sounds like, the gay reviews on In Living Color, tooth neck up, two blows down. It's just like, I don't know. People are turning to dust, and the doctor's running and crying and screaming, and it turns out that Sutek was hitching a ride on the TARDIS all the time, all the while, ever since Pyramids of Mars, even though that makes no fucking sense at all. Just biding his time until a writer so bad to bring him back was in power again, and that would of course be Russell T. Davis. No explanations whatsoever, none. I mean, fuck you, asshole. I understand that you're obsessed with all, the LGBTQIA shit being, imposed in your fucking show and rammed down all of our throats, whether we're willing or not, turning everything into like basically, that scene in Deliverance, we're just the ones, we're all Ned Beatty. Then Russell T. Davis is the hillbillies. And it's just like, thanks a lot, buddy. But you don't even have the narrative coherence or the talent or the cognizance to craft a coherent ending to your fucking series. I mean, fuck you, man. It's unbelievable. There's so many fucking questions left over. Why does it snow across time and space? This was my friend Theta Sigma. One of my followers sent these questions. Why does it snow across time and space? Why is there a secret song inside Ruby Sunday, the chorus of the bells, that is audible in profound moments? Why is her mom dressed like a Sith, creeping around like a Sith? Why does the time window glitch out and fast forward when they try to look at her mom? How could Unit find her mom so easily? How does she experience the events of 73 yards by the doctor stepping on string? Why is it wherever she goes, there's so many connected coincidences? Why would Sutek keep her alive or fear her? What the fuck is going on? So to answer these questions, I throw it out to some of you Whovians out there. Mexican Iron Man, you're a Whovian. Have you got any kind of explanations for this bullshit?
No, and I think the thing that stuck out for me on this episode as I was sitting there watching it, I'm sitting there going through it, and I'm thinking to myself, I can remember dozens, hundreds of episodes of years gone by. Hundreds? Yeah, I guess hundreds of episodes of years gone by where you would always feel something. If someone were to tell me, Doomcock, that there would, let's just go back in time before the last Doctor, before this yo-yo. Let's just go back in time. If someone were to ever tell me that I would watch Doctor Who episodes and not feel anything, I'd be like, get the F out of here. I mean, literally, get the F out of here. Because I felt nothing. And I'm in shock. There is no feeling in this. And if anything, it sparks rage, anger, and disappointment. The rage comes from the way the episode ended. As we find out who the mother... Doomcock, I'm sorry. Are we on spoiler alert?
Yeah, that's right. You can't spoil dog shit.
Okay, great.
Go ahead.
Great. All right. At the end, when she's discovering who the mother is, we got to throw in, not only was the stepdad some kind of evil guy that everybody had to get away from, on top of that, if I heard things clearly and I rewinded the tape, which says the father was a piece of shit. Now, either he was a priest father or some kind. Basically, they're just shitting on men in the final 5 minutes. Not that there hasn't been enough of that the whole series, but it's just a complete and total shit show at the end. That just enraged the shit out of me. That made me go from like, God, I can't wait, this thing is over, to like, motherfucker, you said what? And I got pissed. I got pissed. So, anyways, look, if I felt nothing in the show, and I think the money they spent on special effects is wasted money. That scene of the dog, dude, it's like I saw Bambino going through the fucking universe. I gotta tell you, look, this whole thing the whole episode took me out of like the verisimilitude or whatever you say that word is. Doomcock, bro, I swear to God, as soon as they hit the universe and they launched, I saw like Oh my God, Bambino! The writing was awful. There were zero payoffs. I'm bummed out. You know, the only redeeming quality of this entire series run was the companion. Now, she definitely helped get me through the season, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Yes, but that's it, dude.
But that's it. And frankly, her story, frankly, when it was done, I'm like, even her cute little body and her cute little smile and those darling little eyes, and even at the end, the plot, what way they did with her story arc was so awful. I just don't even give a shit about her anymore.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
believe
Well, I mean, there was nothing there.
money. I can't believe they're going to spend more money on this crap because from what I read from the announcement, this isn't all we're going to get of Mr. Kakudi Kakawadwa. He's coming back. There's going to be more of this crap.
Lord.
I'm afraid so.
Bro, he's not. So. They shouldn't even call this Doctor Who. He is not the. There is no version of of any regenerated Doctor that I have ever seen, and I've seen about a dozen of them, that this guy is trying to portray. I mean, I'm not even from the United Kingdom. I can't even imagine if I were British and part of the Commonwealth, and this was like my default. Like I'm a Whovian, like maybe I don't know, third, fourth, fifth in line behind He-Man, behind Star Trek, behind Star Wars. I mean, it's in my top 5 for sure. But it's not top 3. I cannot even imagine if I were a member of the Commonwealth and this was my default sci-fi of my life that I grew up with. What a freaking tragedy, man. I feel bad for my British Commonwealth brothers and sisters around the globe because as offended as I am, holy crap, I can't even imagine what they've gone through.
I know I'm on the outside of this, but of all the doctors that I've seen, this one has absolutely no sense of authority. Like he comes on the screen and you don't even have a sense that he has any control of the situation, even in an abstract. I mean, at least when I see Tennant and Eccleston and Capaldi, even Matt Smith, they come on and you get a sense that like he's seen it all. He can handle anything that comes his way, or at least jerry-rig his way out of it. Everything I've seen from the way this character is portrayed now is he seems like he should be a companion, like a weak companion, like what's his name, the boyfriend of Pond, sort of like just slightly the comic relief, not the Doctor.
Well, even more, he's like the depressed Doctor. I can't save anybody. Just what we want to watch in our show. The hero of the show is depressed and can't save anybody from anything. I mean, he even contemplates that in this episode, and then to make matters worse, he's like we fought a monster, now I must become one. It's so depressing and stupid. I don't want my hero to be like that. I don't want my hero to be all depressed. I want my hero finding solutions on how to save everybody.
Yeah, it didn't even seem like he wanted to save the fucking planet. It was like he was anti-humanity at the end of the show. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well, the other thing that bothers me about the way this show was presented is that all of the exposition script writing. I am so freaking sick and tired of people telling me, you've got 40 to 50 freaking minutes here, people. Come on, show me, don't tell me. Everything in this episode, every episode all season long has been every 5 to 10 minutes. Someone stops and talks for 2 to 4 minutes, and you got to like pay attention because you're like, okay, because they don't know how to storytell. All they know how to do is tell you what you need to like. I felt like watching this season of Doctor Who has been literally transporting Mexican Iron Man to when he was a little tiny little chalupa sitting in his high chair. And mommy was like force feeding me what I was supposed to eat for dinner. That's how this whole series feels like. Like like every 5 to 10 minutes, they're spitting out words of a plot that I'm supposed to buy into that I have no emotional connection to. Every episode has been that way. I said since this shitty ass season started.
Yeah,
100%.
Shooty's got to be paid by the teardrop too, man. Making a fortune. Another hilarious part of the episode was that, he literally traveled to some planet to find the last piece of metal on that planet or something. The little spoon that he puts into the TV to make it work. But they're in this TARDIS, and I'm looking around. There's all this junk everywhere. There's literally like a can of custard, That's metal. There's all kinds of little pieces of metal around.
Yeah.
But we have to go find the last piece of metal on this strange world, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know where. And it's like, like there's nothing you can use in that TARDIS to turn that thing on. Okay.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, well, it's bullshit. I mean, Sutek was anti-life, not anti-spoon. I mean, there's plenty of spoons on Earth.
Dude, it was so
Plenty of
stupid.
spoons.
It was
Tons
so
of spoons.
stupid. They
And
like
then,
they,
and then the whole trailer hitch thing, like let's just hook this thing up to a trailer. And I'm like, wait, we're having a rodeo, and then we're hooking the horse up to the trailer, boys. Let's go. We're going to intergalactic, interdimensional launch, Doomcock. Yeah.
how did that work? Like just because the thing was tethered to the TARDIS, it's a proximity. Then why didn't the floor go with the TARDIS? And whatever the TARDIS was sitting on should have gone with. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, let's hook this. I got me a Marlin. Hooked him on and then pulled him into this fucking giant space vagina and burned him or whatever the fuck.
So let me ask this to anybody that can explain it. So Sutek, as he's going along, he's like tearing open like the tunnel, and you can see like London down there, and you can see that. And then the way that they get him is to cut him loose in the tunnel that he can claw his way out of. So explain to me how he's defeated exactly. Can anyone do that? Can anyone tell me? Doug, what do you, I mean, you haven't said anything yet. Is that a valid point? What the fuck, dude? How come he couldn't just claw his way out like a dog? Just tunnel his way out.
Valid point on this. I mean, where do you go? I mean, it just. By the way, that solution they stole from Chevy Chase in one of the vacation movies. It's really horrible. It's the one time the Doctor comes up with a plan all season long to defeat the villain, and it's that.
Oh my god!
Plus, it's like one of the things that irked me of many things about this was that basically you have to conclude that the fourth Doctor, who's obviously one of the, if not the greatest Doctor, screwed up and didn't check in on whether or not Sutek had actually piggybacked on the TARDIS all these years, biding his time, waiting for a Doctor who cries all the time to conquer the universe, which he does. And but he forgot about a spoon. So, and just the idea that this holographic TARDIS, which is all it is. It's not really even a thing. It just, it's memory and stuff. I don't know. Everybody's God, apparently. I don't know. And so the problem was to defeat him in Pyramid of Mars, he sent him into the vortex. So at the end, send him into the vortex. And yes, his hands and claws or whatever scrapes the edges of the vortex, and this undoes what he did, which means he's so powerful that he could just do it again. You cannot destroy this thing. So I say, no, I have to become a monster. Well, what? I mean, it doesn't,
Doug, Doug, you know what you're missing? When he says, I have to become a monster, I have to be something that I'm not, blah, 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 blah. And then he gets out there and does that speech. Doug, you forgot the concept of safe space. Get it? Safe space. And words are violence. Words are violence, Doug. That's why. That's how he was able to defeat, to win in the end. Words are violence.
He spoke it into reality.
Yes.
That's what he did. That's all the Doctor has to do. Because
what they were going for was like, I am life, and my life just cancels your death. And so the words and the words are violence. And then what happened is that Sutek was sitting there, and then his space became unsafe, and then the words just the words are violence.
Yeah. When he said he thought he was going to have to become a monster, I thought he meant suddenly he was going to make out with Ruby, and that's the price he had to pay for it. It's stupid. There's nothing there. It's all just magic and whatnot. But on top of that, it was like teasing all along that Ruby was some sort of magic being. And they said she's going to come back for a few special episodes next season. So maybe they'll return to that and say, oh, yeah, she was like the toy maker. I mean, and the maestro and all that. and she's one of those guys. She's a goddess or whatever, or something of that nature. But it's that you tease it all season long, and then you say, "Ha ha, subverted your expectations." Meanwhile, just after defeating this godlike being who originally in Pyramid of Mars, this is like, yeah, he was very powerful. He was the last of his kind. And it was an old sci-fi trope of that, myths about gods and whatnot were actually aliens. And that's what they were. He had a superior technology and all this stuff. Now he really is the god of death, and all that.
Well, yeah, and then they made a specific point to tell us that the reason that all this Egyptian stuff was because of cultural appropriation, which that's the literal explanation that the doctor gives.
As far as they're concerned, that's the saving grace of the show, because
of course
that was
that fucking line about why all the Egyptian stuff that was called what is that Egyptian stuff, cultural appropriation. They almost made me have to bill them for another television, because I really just wanted I really, it made me so fucking angry. It's like, go fuck yourself, you glib son of a bitch. I mean, fuck you. This is just something, you lame, stupid fuck. Hey, you know what? It's because it was an Egyptologist who had gathered all this stuff, including the sarcophagus. Fuck you, man. It was 1911. Fuck you. God damn it. I'm sorry. It's just...
Yeah.
To add on to that,
my God.
They insulted religion yet again, saying that basically, it's whatever you believe it to be. It's not real. It's whatever person you want to make it. And that's just totally insulting to, I don't know, half a dozen religions out there that believe. I mean, you're insulting fans, you're insulting people, and you're writing a story that's so stupid. You're making the doctor death defeats death. So death equals life. What is that? And then the doctor sets himself up. You are the god of death. Well, I must be greater because I'm life, but I'm not a god. What? What are you saying here?
It's all about him. It's always all about him. I did this. He's blaming himself, and he's going through this dramatic moment, and tears are pouring down. I did this. It's my responsibility. I destroyed all of these worlds. Me. It's all about Shooty.
And then his solution is to do
I need mine.
What was that, Tom?
I was singing George Harrison. I me mine.
Oh, yeah. I assume you have the good taste not to be watching this, Tom, right?
Hell to the no.
No, I don't mean to exclude you from it, but I figure you're not.
I'm enjoying the conversation and taking a nap.
Well,
he's enjoying watching me suffer.
Ruby's mother is absolutely nothing special, which means Ruby is Ray's sister, because Ray's parents were nobody special apparently as well. Remember, the big revelation about Ray is that and it's like, and the doctor's like, well, and that makes you the most specialist of all, and that's why it snows, and that's why Sutek feared you, and that's why you can actually manifest songs like in the physical reality that we can all hear under periods of duress when it's not snowing, or sometimes when it is snowing. Fuck, this is. I mean, and a lot of it is incomprehensible too. I mean, there's a lot of fucking gibberish and running around and talking real fast.
And Doomcock, a lot of characters that didn't mean anything at the time, didn't mean anything at the end. I mean, the whole cast coming back, when they come back to life. I mean, there's so many characters that were in, out. You thought they might be meaningful, they weren't, and whether it was within an episode or in the whole series, what a dipshit group of showrunners.
Yeah.
Well, you had the neighbor lady that got real creepy in the last one, and then at the very end of this one, she has something stupid. I'm like, what the heck? And then
it was all okay. Everything was fine.
Yeah. And then the other aspect of it is the mother, you in the flashback, you wonder what the hell she's pointing at. Oh, she's pointing at the name of the road. She named you.
Because that made a lot
What?
of
That
sense.
is so
Yeah.
fucking stupid.
I just was
That
like,
is so fucking stupid. And her face, you can't see her face. Like she's
Dude.
some kind of, I don't know, druid or.
Why would she do that?
Yeah, why?
If
fuck?
she
How did
happened
she
to
know
see
that
the
she-
sign and thought, "Oh, that's a good name for the baby," why
Right.
would she
How would she
suddenly
know that she
point
was-
to it?
Yeah, how did she know that anybody was watching? To
I
see
mean,
her
and-
point.
After
Nobody
she
was watching. Yeah.
she picked up the baby from the Renaissance fair because that explains the outfit and does that. I mean, like it's another example of one of these idiot shows that let alone does it not respect you, it doesn't respect the franchise that it is, its lore and all that sort of stuff. It does not respect itself. I mean, just one thing after another. You didn't think this through. What are they paying you for? I mean, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
There's
I had a-
nothing there.
I had a curiosity
every
that
decision,
Oh, sorry.
every decision that was made in the show was done out of complete emotion. There was no connectivity to any type of story structure or anything like that. It's just, let's just bring everybody back. Well, why though? Well, because it's the big emotional moment, and we should just have everybody back because we don't want the audience to be upset that they're all gone. We
And
didn't
that
care
is-
in the first place.
And that you're on point, and that emotion was also paired up with a desperation, because there's no ability to be creative, and there's no one here that really understands the ethos of what is Doctor Who style of storytelling. They're desperate and they're emotional, and that's why we get what we get. They're desperate for lack of creativity. They're emotional about where they are in life, and they're desperate to be successful. And all of that comes through. It's like that typical kid that or that person in your workplace or in school growing up, where they want to be successful so bad, but they don't actually apply themselves to doing what it takes to be successful. But they're emotional about wanting it and wanting everybody to know it. It's so shallow, so thin-skinned, and it's so insulting to such a great property that has meant so much to literally millions of people over multiple decades and across generations.
I had a question for you guys, since you're all experts on this more so than I am. The one thing I observed that seemed unique to Doctor Who is that the current iteration is handed over to someone that in the past, as I understand it, used to be a really great writer for the series and really added on to the lore in previous seasons. Is that correct? Russell T. Davies was at one time a respected contributor to the universe. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we really were, many people were hopeful when it was said that he was going to return.
Right.
I was not so hopeful because I had seen the final season of Torchwood, and I knew how woke and gay things could get under his watch.
Yeah, because so many of the other franchises end up being handed over to people who demonstrably either never cared for or actively hated the property that they've been given stewardship over. And so I was curious, and maybe this has been answered before, but again, I'm a yutz here. What do you think changed this guy from being such an asset to the property to now being seemingly an active opponent to it?
Well, I'll call on Mike but I will answer. He's just emboldened. That basically, the BBC and Disney are the wokest entities on Earth, and so he was free and unfettered to do whatever he wanted. Is that what you were going to say, Mike?
Absolutely. There were no checks in place, and he was free and fettered. He's in an environment where this is encouraged, and so he doesn't have to keep guiding light of the integrity of Doctor Who, because there's no point to it. There's no reason for it, and so he's going to do whatever his woke overlords want him to do and expect him to do, and that the people that he goes to the cocktail parties want to see him do, because he doesn't care about interacting with us. He doesn't care what we think. They're all the same, especially at Disney, as we're going to switch gears, I think, and talk about it in either this hour or the next.
But does he actually care about gay people, though? I mean, you got to come to that point that he wanted to have more gay storylines in the Doctor Who show.
Do any of these Hollywood wokesters really care? Yeah, are you telling me that all these Hollywood wokesters really care about Latino people, and if they care so much they're going to call us Latinx? I don't think so.
No,
that's right. I know, and that's the thing. I mean, just the basics crafting of a plot for a show. It's not there. It's not there.
That's correct.
It teases it on occasion in some of the episodes, like 73 yards, but it's not there. it's always there was nothing here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible. Just the laziness of that.
Well,
And
you
then just run around, well, you hate gay people or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
like an hour-long
insane.
trailer from a show that'll never be made.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see this in both shows, both Doctor Who and The Acolyte. It's this notion about write about yourself. And while writing does involve some personal experience and some personal stories, they're not asking for your whole biography and all your views on everything. Doctor Who was a vomit of everything he believes and thinks. That's why he attacks religion. He attacks different generations. He attacks fans. He attacks cosplay. He attacks every little thing in these things. And The Acolyte, Kathleen Kennedy is quoted as saying, I want you to write it about yourself. Well, that's not writing. While certain aspects of your personal experience go into the stories are about your characters and about your audience and how you show your audience what your character is thinking and doing from point A to point B to point C to the end of the story. Neither one of these shows does that very well at all. It's pathetic.
That's correct, Robert. And also, each character that they write is exactly the same as every other character.
Yeah.
They all believe the same narrative and the same pronouns and the same bullshit. When it's funny, as a writer, you have to understand that there are different people with different beliefs, and those colliding create story. Once you establish what one person believes and what another person believes, and you put them in the same room, you actually have a little bit of a conflict. But they don't want that. Because it doesn't, that goes outside of, that goes into critical thinking. It's like, well, we have to stick with this one particular narrative. But when every single character believes the exact same thing, there's no conflict. There's no debate. There's no argument. There is no type of engagement whatsoever.
Yeah, that would require self-introspection and reflection. If they actually had to imagine a character that operated in counterpoint to their favorite self-insert or whatever, then they would have to contemplate in their own private time and even open up the possibility, could I be wrong about something? Could there be a perspective on this subject or on this situation that might actually work or make sense to someone outside of my own sphere? Yes. And if you do that, you open up the door for maybe I am the bad guy. And and I can understand most people's egos not being able to survive the concept or the contemplation that maybe the thing that I've been doing or believing has been actually either harming myself or other people this entire time. You have to sort of shy away from that. Otherwise, you open up the door to a self-examination most people don't want to do. And that's the one thing I think is missing, not to get too far off into La La Land here, but a lot of people really need to stop and allow for the possibility in life and in philosophy that they could be wrong, to allow to have their mind changed or their perspective shifted. But you don't see that here. Like you said, it's like, remember that old show Herman's Head?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. That show where you had all these different characters who were playing aspects of an individual, and yet all of them had a little bit of different perspective based on their entire deal. And that's what made the conflict, like you say, that's what made the show interesting and funny, is that there was this bouncing around of ideas and things. But this is Herman's Head, where all the characters are Russell Davis. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm getting.
Oops. Okay. Well, no, that's a good point. There is no, conflict. There is no differences of opinion here to debate. It's all just, groupthink. It's just granted that, everyone is gay or gay adjacent, and,
yes.
Nobody needs a coherent narrative anymore. It's just such a crock of shit. A horrible episode. The worst season of Doctor Who ever. I don't think there's any debate about that.
I know. A couple of the Jodie episodes look much better now.
Oh, dude, half of the Jodie episodes are better than any one of these things this season.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but that's just like basically saying, stepping in dog shit is better than eating it. That's all. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go
yes,
with
but this dog shit is
sleeping in
cold.
dog shit is better.
Yeah.
It always comes back to dog shit. Thanks, Sutek. Sutek won in the end.
Yep.
Sutek did win in the end. And speaking of not winning in the end or taking it in the rear end, let's bring Tom Connors into this because no, you'll see what I mean in a minute. We're wasting Tom here. This was my transition, Tom. I thought you'd get a laugh out of it. Because
Transition, huh?
I know that. Well, you guys are covering and doing a great job on Midnight's Edge of covering Disney's woes with the Disney Tapes Part 2, James O'Keefe's latest revelations about discrimination in Disney's C-suite, and Forbes also came up with an article talking about how women on the Acolyte were paid less than men. And I just wondered if you might like to comment on some of these stories, Tom, because we don't want to waste you here. You're sitting here on your hands, not having anything to say about Doctor Who, but I know you've got some stuff to say about this.
Oh, well, I mean, I appreciate it, and I don't want to disrupt the flow of the show, but yeah, I mean, if you guys are done with Doctor Who, we can definitely get into that.
Well, I don't know that there's anything else to say about it, Tom. I mean,
No.
anything else that we've left unsaid? I didn't bother to do screen caps on it because it's fucking worthless. Same with the Acolyte this week. All it was a bunch of people swinging lightsabers around and Darth Zipperhead.
Basically, the guy you thought that was the bad guy was the bad guy. Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing better about the episode was Ruby was looking really good. So
she was looking
it.
hot, but that's it. I mean, she was irrelevant, and her mom was irrelevant, and her dad's irrelevant. The whole fucking thing was a goddamn waste of time.
And then he kicked her out of the TARDIS.
Yes. While posing and looking like, GQ, and we know what the Q stood for in that regard. Tom, what about the latest O'Keefe revelations, and were you aware about the Acolyte pay disparity, the hypocrisy of Disney paying women less and employing less of them on the Acolyte?
On the Acolytes part, yeah, I did hear about that story, and I was talking about it on a few shows, and it kind of made me think that maybe there's another angle to this DEI stuff that we haven't really gotten into much, and that is it's a lot cheaper to probably hire a lot of these DEI hires. So I probably wouldn't be surprised if there was a bit of a pay gap difference, not just with, men and women, but in general with any DEI hire. But that being said, overall, though, I don't believe in the whole pay gap thing. It's nonsense because there's so many things that you have to get into contextually. To me, it's a lot like when you have, Kirsten Dunst coming out and going, I didn't get paid as much as Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, I missed the part where you were dangling on a wire for 6 hours in a Spider-Man costume. What world do you think you should get paid more? I don't get it. And again, equality is equality on certain levels. Again, how many people on the Acolyte that are female that are working as a key grip or a gaffer or something like that, some in construction. No, they're probably mostly in costume departments and all that. And I'm not trying to sound sexist, but let's be real. Let's see the actual breakdown. I bet you a lot of the tougher, more dangerous jobs are handled probably by men, and they probably do get paid a little bit more. Mm-hmm. As far as on screen wise, I mean, as Robert Meyer Burnett says, you get what you negotiate for. You don't get what you deserve. And that's true in Hollywood, anywhere. I mean, in life, for most part. I mean, if you're not going to ask for what you're worth, then you're not going to get paid what you're worth. Right. So a lot of times I think
what you ask for, then shut the fuck up.
Right. I mean, and that's the other thing is a lot of these people are coming back later going, well, I didn't think I got paid enough. It's like, yeah, well, did you get paid? And is a job done and all that kind of stuff? Like 10 years later, what difference does it make now? 20 years later? Yeah. It's just nonsense. As far as O'Keefe business, yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff we can get into there, but I figure we can talk about this topic a little bit here, but it'll be interesting to see how this gets drugged through court.
The other thing to remember is that with these DEI hires is that the first consideration is not merit or experience or leverage, it's appearance. And so you bring in actors, background or otherwise, who don't have anything other than their appearance for the most part to fill that gap, and they don't have any leverage to negotiate for anything higher, perhaps. I mean, there's like Tom said, there's a whole bunch of factors that go into this, but I'd like to know the ratio of females working on this production versus males, and then what specifically their roles on the production were, and then tell me about, oh, it was some kind of gap. I'm sure, of course, there's a disparity. This is the one thing you always have to remember. A disparity does not necessarily indicate an inequity. It just means there's a difference. You have to go to the nitty gritty to find out where that difference comes from.
Well, also, aren't most of those productions unionized? So you've got different unions supporting different groups that are getting paid, and usually unions fight for, a specific wage for a specific job or specific group of jobs. And there are so many different unions within a production that you've got that. Plus, if it's an actor, you've got an agent. The agent is supposed to negotiate the contract. Why are you whining to us in the studio? Why don't you whine your agent?
Yeah. It's another example of where the reality meets the fraud, where the pay gap argument was basically a politicized one, and it was not based in any reality. When you're dealing with the actual reality of production, that's what wins out in the end for the most part, and that's what happened here. And it comes out. And the only point about it is that these characters that were in charge are the very type of people who would preach this stuff. And then, of course, when it comes to doing the actual job, you can't really practice it. And when you do, it's to your detriment.
It's true, but you guys are missing like the actual facts of the matter. So documents that were filed by Disney revealed that the Acolyte isn't a force for equality. It turns out that just 30% of the 695 employees employed by that production were women, and the women's average hourly pay was 19.4% lower than men's. I mean, there's no way to talk about that. That's not got anything to do with seniority or anything else. That's the average. 30% of the employees were women, just 30%.
Yeah, but that's a broad generalization. It actually kind of goes into what we're saying, though. What were the jobs?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because different jobs get paid different levels. And I think the most important thing that was brought up is, the guild set the minimum. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that. The other thing I did hear about this, though, is that Disney didn't want to turn over some paperwork or something like that involved with this. That was the part that was
they
sus
had
to me.
because they were trying to get their UK reimbursement of 25% of the money they spend in the country. And they had to disclose these figures, which they did not want to do because it looks horrible. I mean, they make all this big lip service about, we're woke and, we're diversity and equity and stuff. 30%. It's looking a lot like, the man's system in the 70s to me. It looks just like it. The women's pay is down compared to men's pay.
I had another thought about
this. Women. Bullshit.
I had another thought about this earlier today about this issue, and I was thinking this disparity shouldn't exist mathematically because the senior execs on this production are women, and the highest paid actors on the show have got to be females. I mean, Moss has to have been up in the top 2 or 3. Amandla has to be in the top 2 or 3. So the overall average should have been brought up by whatever women are well placed. So I think you are both right from 2 different angles. I think without a doubt, Tom's observation about what are the positions, what are they doing, yada, 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 absolutely makes sense. And at the same time, the absolute fucking hypocrisy of this fucking company is just so blatantly obvious. They're full of shit about, I think it's full of shit to just say that white chicks automatically mean that, that qualifies as diversity. I'm still at a loss, like Bill Burr, to understand when white chicks hijacked the diversity narrative, but somewhere it happened in the last 10 years, I guess. Somehow that counts as diversity. So, but since that's what they're counting it as,
it's the power of the meat curtain.
Yep, exactly.
But no, and I do agree on the other end, and that's what I was saying, where if diversity hires, if that includes white women, technically are cheaper across the board, then that's part of the problem. Of course, they're going to hire the cheaper labor. I brought that up with you too, Mike.
Yeah.
the other night. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got a company that is freaking, the more that they get these tax credits, which by the way is all the time now. All the time they're doing it now, and more and more and more. Doomcock, this is going to keep happening over and over again because a lot of their crap is going to continue to be funded by the UK because California's budget is going to let them to like get the same tax credits that they used to. So the more and more that they do this shit, the more and more they're going to be exposed for being the hypocritical assholes that they really are. They're not for diversity and equality and equity or equity. I'm sorry, equity is the word that they want to use. Not opportunity, but equity. They're not for any kind of equity. If they were, then these statistics wouldn't happen because if they were so committed, the averages would be there. But they're not.
Yeah, it just reveals their hypocrisy essentially. I mean, that's essentially what it does.
Yeah.
And of course, we're all talking about merit here. Merit? Wokies don't understand merit. Merit has nothing to do with DEI or ESG. I mean, I just hope that these, purple hairs like just take such umbrage that they just give Disney hell over this because the hypocrisy is fucking hilarious. But anything to take away from, O'Keefe's latest revelations, it was a bit redundant, but it did make it clear that, woke is fine for the hoi polloi and the commoners and the audiences, but not in the C-suite neighborhood. I just thought that was very funny.
Well, the only weakness to O'Keefe's reporting is that this is all anecdotal evidence, and
Right.
there's information, especially from his second subject, that was observably untrue, as in the C-suite is populated only by white male Jews. And if you just look at, and we did yesterday on Midnight's Edge, we looked at the actual corporate executive team, and it's observably untrue. And O'Keefe didn't even mention that in the course of his reporting, just as a counterpoint to the guy's thing. So it's hard to say, is this sour grapes? Is this just anecdotal? There's no documentation. It's interesting, but it's not actionable, if that makes sense.
Right. Not
Yeah,
like
I would
maybe
think-
the first one was. This was not as good as the part one.
Yeah,
No,
the bigger.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say, the second guy, he pretty much said the same thing. And then it was almost like they were trying to go for him to say something bad about Iger. And at this point, that's just like hearsay, unless you have some kind of proof that, yes, Iger's corrupt because he did this, this, and this, and I witnessed this. That would be one thing. But he didn't say that. And so it kind of fell flat. All you had to do is get him to confirm the same hiring practices as the other guy, and you got something.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
but I'm going to say there's two or three good things about this. Now, I will concede. Is there a smoking gun that's going to absolutely nail Iger and Disney to the wall? No. And let me just say this. Back in 2017, we had a smoking gun. We had a bona fide whistleblower, which we reported about when this case came back up with the SEC, where she
Right.
testified. Doomcock, we did this. Remember, we covered extensively about 2 years ago, and she since settled with the SEC, but the SEC didn't investigate. Her husband tragically ended himself, and all this, her life was ruined. She was a true whistleblower that exposed that Disney lied about $4 billion worth of revenue over 3 different fiscal years. And still nothing happened then. But back then, it was a different environment where she was seen like a wild ball, oddball, crazy. There's no way Disney could be this. I submit for consideration the following. I think that we're getting these guys saying this on tape, even though it's under extenuating circumstances. It exposes a culture of corrupt. It exposes the corrupt woke culture of Disney, and there's value to that. Number 2 is that it might signal other people to contact O'Keefe on the private lines, a lot of similar to what our good friend Chris Gores was able to do with his Disney Files with Alan Ng. And number 3, for things at Disney to get to the point where O'Keefe has decided, I'm going to go after that, that is what we need overall within the fabric of overall society. We need some exposure to this company, because for how many years, Doomcock, Tom, Midnight's Edge, Xanadu, how many years have so many channels of us, we've been the ones whistling, shouting, trumpeting the horn, stomping, hitting the drums. And now finally, mainstream America is going to get some exposure because it's this guy. Now, Does everybody listen to him? No, he's obviously more conservative than he's more appealing to the conservative side than the liberal side. But hey, it's more people than the people that watch us. And the more we get exposure and eyes on this company, the more that not only is Doomcock, hashtag Doomcock was right, but hashtag Nelson Peltz was right.
No, it's
Well-
interesting. You know, part one was much better than part two. I mean, you got to say that. But this
The
one,
problem, I think, was the way it was
redundant.
framed.
Yeah.
And the other problem, I think, is the way it was framed was the problem. See, if O'Keefe was smart, he would have, and I'm not saying he's dumb, but I'm just saying if he was smarter about the second video, he should have framed it in a way that this is the problem with Disney. These kind of guys, these woke, entitled pricks are part of the problem at Disney. Because that's the thing with this guy. This second guy, he comes off to me like a wokey woke mofo, right? He's like, I'm a victim. It's a bunch of Jews. It's, you know, it's this problem. It's that problem. Sure. Let's teach the kids all about the LGBTQ crap. Right. Like, so I would have reframed this whole video as, look, this is the kind of people that Disney is hiring. And then when you come around to the Bob Iger part, I would have set it up in a sense that this is the kind of guy who had, you know, that along with the rest of Hollywood had such confidence in Iger until he came back, and then this guy started losing confidence in Iger, and he says the things that we've said about Iger ever since. Guy ain't going nowhere. He's loaded up the board with his own people, et cetera, kind of stuff. All that kind of business. And he thinks he's corrupt now and all that kind of stuff. But what, she should have pressed on that. What about him is corrupt, right? So like she led him down this path with the LGBTQ stuff and some other things, but like she totally let off the gas when it came to Bob Iger. I'm like, no. Keep going with that. Push on that. What does he think is corrupt? Get more out of him. Because otherwise, you're right. You have this problem where he sees the board as nothing but white Jewish men. Okay, well, as we were joking with Mike, some of those individuals on the board might be white to him, but they sure do have a lot of Hispanic names in there. The other thing is the one thing I did notice is there's not very many black men. That's the one group that I would say probably has a lot of no representation really at all, except for like I think one guy. And then you got this guy and a few other people that for, you know, various other it's pretty eclectic. I wouldn't say that part was very accurate. And I think O'Keefe missed out on that because that hurts his credibility. Yeah. Otherwise, the video before this was a lot of fun with him chasing down the guy in the Tesla after he pulled an episode of Cheaters on him for, you know, Michael turning around and skipping out on the one and going out on the other date. It was like
the most interesting thing about
Chris
the
Hansen, wasn't he? It was like Chris Hansen coming in.
Have you ever seen that show Cheaters? Well, have you ever seen that show Cheaters? Yeah, that's what it was basically. It was an episode of Cheaters, like where the girl shows up and she busts him, and then he goes taking off as soon as O'Keefe showed up because it was like O'Keefe was the other chick's boyfriend or something like that. It's like he just, you know, and it's like, well, he didn't want to answer any questions. And then at the end there, O'Keefe did kind of misrepresent some things again, saying that this guy was the guy that was, you know, doing the illegal hiring practices. It's like, no, Disney itself is not this guy. This guy was just telling you about it. But at least he did clear up all the other stuff because like some people are like, well, I thought maybe he was here for diddling and all that kind of business. It's like, no. He's here on a legitimate date. This guy's actually straight. And, you know.
Right.
And that's the thing is with as many gay people that work at Disney, there's not very many straight people they can honey dick anymore left, I would think. They've got 2 of them already. So there's 4 of them tops, 5 maybe, if you don't count Bob Iger.
The most interesting thing I found about the second guy, and Tom, you mentioned this last night in particular, was that he acknowledged the damage that packing a production with DEI philosophy does to the success of the production. He talks about this thing, Death and Other Details, I think it was, with Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah, a show that didn't last long, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it was just a post-mortem afterthought kind of thing, but he acknowledged pretty blatantly that it didn't test well because all the characters and all the decisions for hiring actors were fueled and orchestrated by a diversity imperative. And that was interesting. That was more interesting to me because at least, like you said last night, there's an awareness that this is a problem, yet they're not doing anything about it, seemingly.
Yeah, because what Scribe is talking about is this guy talked about one of his jobs, and that the funny thing is they actually call it exactly what we call it over at Midnight's Edge when we break down one of these movies or shows when they go to hell. They actually called it a post-mortem analysis, and he was talking about how basically the show failed, and they said it was because of the inorganic diversity. And my whole thing I was bringing up with the panel was like, is this something that he's telling the upper echelon? Because if this is true, then this is the smoking gun we've been needing all this time, to where we can't deny that there's not cognitive dissonance here. They're well aware of it. They're just doing it on purpose, right? Because that's the big question we get all the time, right? It's like, are they aware of this? Are they doing it on purpose? What is their whole point of doing this if it's losing money? Well, we know they're getting money from the Black Rocks and the State Streets and all that kind of stuff for these kind of practices. And I'm sure there's other organizations and things that come into this, especially with the diversity and equity part of it. So what we're seeing here is just an actual confirmation that they are aware that this shit is not working. Okay. It's just, they're just ignoring it, basically. Because like I said to these guys, I'm like, sure, you might not tell middle management this shit, and they're not going to want this kind of a thing to get out. But one thing you do is tell the upper guys, because they want to know what's wrong. And then they'll be the ones coming up with the spin on how to tell the story to everybody else. Right. And they'll blame it on Mandy Patinkin or whoever the fuck they want at that point. You know, then it's nothing to do with the diversity, right? It has everything to do with anything else they can blame it on, basically. So
and I still
happen to the Acolyte, basically, at the end of the day.
I still disagree. I don't think they'd tell the upper echelon, because if the upper echelon are actually true believers, then they'd just be setting themselves up to be cut out as, not part of the team.
I don't know if I don't think Bob Iger really is a true believer. And I know
I don't know if he's not. I've heard many people saying that he believes that he's on the right side of history, and at least in terms of what he's projecting. But the sense I got from this interview was that he does not say this kind of shit to the upper echelon, because this is the kind of thing he's venting. He's like venting shit, in my opinion, that he would love to say to them. But, maybe it was like an internal discussion with their production group, but it probably didn't penetrate the C-suite because they know that there's no fucking point to it. Because they keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. They're well aware that this.
The thing is with this guy is that's not his job. It's not his job to candy coat shit for people. So that's why I'm not so sure that's why I said it's the upper people that would come up with the spin, right? He's the guy that tells you what's really going on. And then from there,
I don't know they have any people like that, though. I mean, not really. I mean, it may be his job title.
Well, because you got to understand what this guy does.
Telling shit.
Like, you got to understand what this guy does. He's not a creative person. What he does is they bring the scripts to him. He goes through the scripts and he itemizes everything. Okay, then he comes up with the budget for a show, and then he takes that back to Disney, and then Disney says either that's okay, or that's too much, or we got more money we can put into this, etc., etc. It's generally not the latter, but you know what I mean. So then he goes back and
budget.
Yeah, that's all he does. And then he goes back and he tells them, this is what you got to work with. Or you got to cut down here, you know, whatever you got to do, or this is okay. We signed off on it. Go ahead and shoot, whatever it is. And then he's one of the guys who starts giving out the money for, like, if they got to get a sound stage, rent this or rent that and all that kind of stuff. He's the money guy who's basically the go-between for all that. So then when the show tanks, it's his job then to go through everything, assess it, and then tell them why it tanked.
Well, no,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
I don't see that. I mean, he's just in the money. No,
that is his job. That's what he was saying there.
Well, no, but it's not going to talk about the aesthetics of it. He's going to talk about, like, budget overages and the money flow and et cetera and so on.
No, but
like a story
they're also going to go through what the demographics say, what worked and didn't work, what people are saying as far as, like, any kind of.
Well, that's a different department. If it's just budget and money, then
he's bringing it up, so I'm thinking he's part of that. That's my point.
No, he's just
money guys will get involved with that and see where it went wrong. I'm sure, because
I think everybody likes to be a Sunday armchair quarterback, but I don't think I didn't get the sense that he reports, analyzes aesthetic concerns to the uppers. He's just a numbers guy. That's what he was saying. So, I mean, that...
Well, Mike, you're kind of in basically the domain of this guy. Is it your job to tell them what they want to hear or tell them the truth?
Well, but it's money. I mean, he's just basically the budget guy. I mean, he's not tasked with anything in terms of content. He's tasked with, did these guys get paid? How much did we pay for the stage? How much did we pay for the rentals of the, lights, et cetera, and so on? And when it fails, it's like, well, that's for, kind of content analysts, not this guy. I don't get the sense of this. I think he's just expressing his opinion. He's venting about this shit.
Well,
You could be right, but I don't know on that.
I definitely think he's venting. When I looked up his IMDb late last night again, Tom, after our show that we had last night, I looked up his IMDb again. This guy is definitely a guy that came over as part of the Fox deal from the India sub business unit. And he had sounded like he's a longtime exec at Disney. He came over from he was part of the India subunit that came over with Fox. And while he might have a fancy title, the reality is that he's a guy who spends Disney's money in accordance with whatever Disney wants, and then he keeps track of the diversity stuff in an Excel. I mean, you can tell that both from the interview and from the position that a guy like this has. I think James O'Keefe does. There is a major flaw in James O'Keefe's analysis, though it sort of is that he keeps talking about the C-suite. A guy like this isn't in the C-suite. There's a C-suite, the V-suite, and the D-suite. That's how Disney is organized. That's how most of these companies are organized. C-suite is chief financial officer, chief executive officer, chief technology officer, chief information officer, yada yada yada. The true vice presidents that report to them is called the V-suite. And then below that, you have all the executives in what are called the D-suite, and those are non-operating, non-division head vice presidents. This guy's there and lower. So he may, from his standpoint, be looking up and saying, hey, I got to be a white Jewish guy to get ahead. But that may or may not, that may be true. That may not be true. I mean, I don't know. I just think the thing is he's only been at Disney a few years. But he was at the India unit for a while. But he's only been in the Disney home corporate office for I think since 2018 or 17, something like that.
Well, it's interesting. I think he failed in this second report to make the kind of splash that he made in the first report, O'Keefe, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
I don't know what the third one is going to be. I have no idea, but hopefully it'll be better than this last one.
I'm hoping that he did what I wanted to do. I'm hoping he waited for Bob to put. There's an entrance in Burbank where I think all the executives drive through. There's a security gate. I'm hoping the third part is where he is out front and intercepts Bob. Hey, Bob.
Before we start talking about the episode, I just wanted. Now I'm an English major. I'm not a math major, so I might be off here a little bit. But I was curious how much was actually spent per second on episode 5 of the Acolyte, given the budget. And so it yeah, go ahead.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Nick, welcome to the show, buddy.
Well, it might help. It might help if I unmute my microphone. Doing good. Just got freed up and jumped in ready to go. I caught a little bit of what you guys were talking about with the James O'Keefe stuff. And we've been kind of keeping this under wraps, but we just announced it. Coach actually just dropped this video on this promo on something that's going to shed a lot of light on what you guys are talking about in this. If you want to share my screen, Doomcock, I'll show you guys the quick promo video of it. It's definitely going to be pretty interesting.
Disney, the happiest place on earth, but for some, it's a different story. Recently, the Disney tapes detailed corruption and racism in the Walt Disney Company. Unfortunately, only a few news media have picked up the story.
One of the guys at Disney, openly.
I don't want to show clips of other stuff that might get us dinged or something, Nick. Sorry.
That's all right. You guys can actually just check it out on the channel. We didn't get dinged for any of it, because it's all very short. But anyways, basically, I had a 2-hour conversation with a high level access ex Disney employee, and he wants to tell his story. He said a lot of this stuff that James O'Keefe is talking about is 100% true, and he has tons and tons of stuff to talk about. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty interesting conversation.
All right. Well, that sounds great, Nick. We're looking forward to it. Let's get to some super chats and then let's tear into this Acolyte stuff. And anything else you can tell us about this, Nick, we're interested to hear. It sounds great, man.
Awesome.
Let's get some super chats here. All right, folks, let's go ahead and see what we got here. Give you all a chance to be heard. SFX F314 Saber-Tooth Raptor with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says Mexican Iron Man, save your sanity. Go watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Classics with Tom of Midnight's Edge. It is also good for blood pressure. Ready to hear you deflate Acolyte.
Sorry, but I'm not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. I just never got into it. It wasn't my thing. Tom loves it, but no, I'm not gonna go back and. Thanks for listening. No, I'm not gonna go back and no.
He likes He-Man.
I'm a He-Man guy. I've tried to watch. I didn't even like any of the movies. Okay, so I mean, it just no. There's nothing that appeals to me.
That's just
Well,
it's because I know how to use nunchucks better than any of the turtles.
no,
so,
you don't.
Yes, I do.
He's just asking you to keep Tom company. That's all. He's just asking you
keep Tom
while he's
company all
watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know.
I keep Tom company all the time.
Well, it's appreciated. You know, y'all go good together. And F you, I'm a dragon with two $5 super chats in a row. Thank you, F you, I'm a dragon. Says hail. I had a long buried childhood memory surface about a cool kids show I used to watch. After I spent a few days researching, I found the name Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
Oh
Yeah. We all remember
yeah.
that, don't we?
Mhm.
That was on a Turner, right? Yeah.
That or it was syndicated. I can't remember which, but yeah,
It was syndicated.
Yeah.
because it was
It may have
attached to
been
the toy and it had videos, and then you could actually play along with the show and everything with the toys and had the
The
light
flashes
gun
on the
and
screen would
everything.
interact
Yep.
with your jet and your figures. and
Yep.
everything.
Oh,
It would
okay.
eject you. Yep.
Was there like a Captain Planet? There was like an eco
That's Captain
show.
Planet. Captain Power.
Okay, yeah,
was
yeah,
much more
okay.
short-lived, but very inventive and.
I think
what's
it was the
word?
first CGI I ever saw on television. Honestly,
They did utilize some CGI.
yeah,
on
some
TV,
really early
yep.
CGI, and it was live action, which made it cool too.
And the guy who directed the Masters Universe movie was behind a lot of it. Yeah, no, it was it was a pretty cool show for what it was at the time.
Yeah.
Very, very kind of obscure now, but had some really cool toys.
Right. And FU I'm a Dragon says, I remember it had good effects and was like Terminator. So he said he got a DVD on eBay and ordered it. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, it is kind of set in a dystopian kind of future kind of thing. Yeah. And I think even AI was like one of the, wasn't that like with Bad Guy in it or something like that? I think, Scribe, if you remember. I can't remember, but yeah. It was kind of a futuristic show. But
Yeah, there was like I remember there was like a bird villain that would fly in and stuff, and he was all CGI and silver and everything, and some other things. It's very distant in my memory now, but yeah, I remember
yeah,
loving
it's been
it as a
years.
kid.
There's some videos out there about it though. Yeah, you can if you deep dive.
And Dernan Iron Knuckles says it's on YouTube, so
Yeah.
you don't have to get it on DVD. You can check it out. Vinny NJ78 has become a channel member. Thank you, Vinny NJ78. Bless you, my friend. We appreciate it. Evan Peterson with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Evan. Says, if this is the season finale of Doctor Who, aren't they going to lose the Daleks? Unless the Tennant comedy sketch counts, they didn't use them. And is it true that Andy Masterson is outfitting them with little fezzes and legal counsel? Well, Andy's not here to answer that question. I can't answer it. I don't know. But as far as the Daleks go, this show was too worthless for the Daleks. I'm glad that they weren't soiled by being on this as of yet. You know, I don't think I don't think they have to use the Daleks every single season to retain them, do they? Does anyone know on the panel?
I don't know. Yeah, sorry.
I don't either.
I should know.
Usually it's yearly. It's not a yearly thing. Usually it takes years, but then again, I have no idea what kind of deal they have. As far as I know, doesn't the BBC kind of own that lock, stock, and barrel anyway, for the most part?
I really don't know. That's an interesting point. I know Terry Nation retains an interest in them, but as far as outright ownership.
Control. Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume that they have to pay him to use it, but I don't think they have to use it. Well, Ken Rygard says Terry Nation owns the Daleks in the chat. So
Oh yeah, I don't know if they'll lose it, but maybe they just don't have to pay him unless that's part of the deal. Yeah. So yeah, because like other people are saying BBC still owns the copyright and control. I would think at the same time. So yeah,
that's what it says. Yeah, Richard Spake in the chat. Yeah. So Evan, that's interesting. I'm just glad we didn't see the Daleks and they didn't have to get snowed on by the irrelevant Ruby Sunday, for fuck's sake. Unfucking believable. Jack White with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jack. Says, hail my lord, did you see the trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta and series recommendation Tokyo Revengers, and have you gotten any further in Bleach? I have seen the trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta. It looks good. I haven't had a chance to check out Tokyo Revengers or Bleach. Been extremely busy. It's been a difficult couple of weeks. Thank you very much, Jack White. Ken Rygard's been a channel member for 5 months at the Dementite level. Thank you, Ken. He says, I only watched this through Disparu's reviews, and it was still painful. I was hoping at the end Tom Baker would show up and kick Shooty's pansy ass. Well, it didn't happen, unfortunately. Even Sutek couldn't manage that. It's just sad. It's just sad. I mean, this is the worst season of Doctor Who there's ever been. There's just no doubt about it. This is really, God, it's just corpse abuse. It's the Timeless Children killed the show, and now they're just, I don't know.
Hey, right now they're like Timeless Children. Ha! Hold my beer.
Yeah, it's ungodly. Believe I just good riddance. It makes me sick to even think about it. This was the worst fucking shit ever, and the lowest rated too. I mean, this is the biggest failure I think Doctor Who has ever had as a season, ever. I mean, in their history, it's never been this bad. London 19657 gifted an Overlord DVD membership to this channel. Thank you, London 19657. Grimlock say watch Buckethead. Has been a channel member for 45 months at the Dementite level. Thank you, my friend. He says, hail Doomcock, Doom Chat, Doom Wrenches, and esteemed Doom panel. Also Bucketheads, and of course, hail Harvey. Glad to know who will be destroying the universe. Harvey's itching to do it, man, and I'm itching to push the button. When I have to watch Doctor Who and The Acolyte both in a row on the same day, my resolve weakens, and I start looking at that button like it's a big juicy steak, and I just want to grab it. It's like when Wimpy looks at Popeye and sees a hamburger, right?
That's why I watch a lot of classic stuff. I can't deal with a lot of this newer shit anymore.
You're wise, Tom. You're wise. You're wiser than I. I don't know. I don't know why I do it. It's insane.
I mean, there is some new stuff here and there that's okay, but yeah. Not enough yet.
You ever watch Sugar on Apple TV?
No, actually, I canceled Apple a few months back because I just never really watched it. But there was a few shows I thought about getting into. Just again, it's that investment, and unless I start hearing good things about something, then I usually don't check into it. But I'll take that one on a note.
Well, I enjoyed it. It's like a detective in LA kind of story, but it goes in interesting places, and I really enjoyed it. I think you might like it.
Cool.
Jack White with a $10 super chat and a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Jack. God bless you, buddy. He says, my lord, take my advice and watch some of the series I have recommended you between now and next week, and hopefully make it easier to get through the woke wars and Dr. Woke. Well, thank God in heaven, Dr. Woke is wrapped for the series. It's just fucking awful. And Jack also says, plus it would be better for your liver and other... That's true, man. I'm drinking too much. And another series recommendation, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai and Date Alive. Thank you for caring, Jack. Thank you for the suggestions, man. I need them. I need them all. This is just an awful, awful time in pop culture. Trevin Lane with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Trevin Lane says, hail DC, panel and chat. Sorry I'm late. The YouTube notice didn't happen. Pistachios for Sabu. Passes cup of pistachios to Sabu. Thank you, Trevin Lane. You can hear he's very happy about it. We really appreciate it, Trevin. Hail to you, sir. Thank you for cushioning the blow and easing our pain here in Xanadu. And Scott V with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Scott. Says, hail Doomcock and panel. I want you all to know I'm here fighting with you. I don't have that big a voice, but I'm here with you all, chat included. I will never give up the fight for Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. Please, we've got to end this madness. Well, it's really not in our control. All we can do is keep calling it out, my friend. That's all we can do. But, you know, they are losing audience. They are losing money. And it's just a question of how long can these, you know, mega donors and woke, you know, investment funds keep them afloat when they keep failing. I mean, they really are failing. And their brand is getting decimated. Disney's brand is fucked up you know what, after years and years of this abuse. And there's no real easy way for them to come back from that. I mean, they're losing a massive amount of people who will probably never look back. And that's tainting, you know, a brand that has taken, you know, what? How long to build up? 70, 80 years, something like that? I don't have any idea even. Brian Yoder has been a channel member for 16 months at the Dumentite level. Thank you, Brian. Says, PEBWAC problem exists between writers and canon. PEBWAC. I'm sleep deprived and a little slow on that. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, Brian. But yes, there is a problem between writers and canon, because if you know anything about the canon of any particular franchise, you are excluded from the writer's room. They don't want you there. They don't want you ruining their plans to destroy the franchise. They want people that don't know it and don't give a shit about it. It makes it so much easier to destroy shit. Kenny Long with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Kenny says R2-D2 is not a lesbian. R2-D2 hooked up with an A10 warthog after a night of Netflix and chill. 9 months later, we got the phalanx CIWS. God bless you, DC. Thank you, Kenny Long. I heard us R2-D2, or just a minute there. I heard him in the background somewhere.
He's here somewhere. He was not too happy about that.
No, is he not a lesbian? Does he deny the allegation?
He is straight as hell. He said 3PO is questionable.
He always was, but we still love him because we're not homophobes. By God.
R2, he's like, oh no, he sticks that thing in whatever hole he can find, if we can't recall. Sometimes he doesn't even pay attention, sticks it in the socket.
Well, he learned it from Lando, didn't he, Tom?
Yeah, I'm sure he did, because Lando's just sticking it everywhere. So
in Solo, you know. Usually when I watch a Solo video, it's a happy thing involving ladies, but not this. Son of a... Jack White with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jack. And says, well, Mike, you can proudly exclaim you are a Star Blazers fan. Oh, and check out the Gundam franchise and Rurouni Kenshin 2023. So there you go, Mike. Jack White shouting you out there, buddy.
Yeah, I do love Star Blazers big time.
Yeah, man, I got to get into that. I really do.
So good, so good.
Tony Yule, Captain Seagal of the Black Templars with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tony. Says, how about those Disney leaks, huh? Great entertainment, huh? Yeah, no, I mean, it's very entertaining, although it was also redundant, too. You know, O'Keefe in this second book, he kept making the same points over and over again. It was stretched out a bit, you know? This one
he likes to do that, though, so...
Yeah, I made a video about the first one. I'm not going to make a video about the second one. I mentioned it tangentially in my last video here, but yeah, it's just not a lot there, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Green Hat with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Green Hat says, Sutek is a metaphor for the woke, clinging to what we love and destroying its history and future. As for the Jedi now, they have Schwartz dysfunction. Sutek, they ruined Sutek. They couldn't leave him alone. Talk about cultural appropriation. You know, they're actually appropriating the culture of Doctor Who and decimating it, just grinding it into the dust. It's fucking awful. Fucking awful. Tater Pun, it's been a Dumentine of mine for a year now. Thank you, Tater Pun. Says, fun fact, no disintegrations is a reference to when Boba appeared in the Acolyte and was hired by the Jedi to secretly incinerate Osha's clan. But they weren't burned. None of them were burned. None of the bodies were burned. They were just lying there peacefully. You know, like they drunk some Kool-Aid or, you know, Applewhite's cult, you know. It's just like, we're just going to lie here and have a, you know, witch's graveyard, and it would be so nice. And our clothes can be given to Goodwill afterwards because they're totally intact. Bullshit, this fire. Bullshit. I can't wait to hear the stunning surprise of what actually the Jedi did that caused the one Jedi to kill it. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Lance has been a channel member for 34 months at the Archvillain level. Thank you, Lance. It's almost 3 years. Getting there. I jumped into a game jam last week. At present, less than 7 days to finish. Making good progress, though. Only a 2-week period, so I have to keep things simple. Going well so far, though. Lance, God bless you, buddy. Yeah, he's actually, Game Jam is essentially, he's got like 2 weeks to design a game. So good on you, buddy. You keep at it, okay? OG Shaggy Mac with a $5 Australian super chat. Thank you, OG. Says the doctor is still in the Pandorica and is being bombarded with nightmares. Yeah, let's keep trying to retcon the terrible script. Let's keep trying to come out. Hey, it's the despair squid, you know? Oh, the doctor banged his head getting out of, you know, the shower, you know, tripping over Bobby Ewing, who wasn't supposed to be there. You know, I mean, you can come up with excuses all day long, and they're better than what's on the screen. I'll grant you that, but shit, there's no saving the situation. It's fucked. Saul Shymek with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Saul. Says observation. The current doctor is Michael Burnham after escaping Star Trek Discovery. That's right on, man. The way that Shooty Gatwa cries is like Mikey Spock. You know, 100% Mikey Spock. Mikey Spock cried at the drop of a fucking phaser over and over and over again. It was absolutely pathetic. Yep, Shooty and Mikey Spock. Peas in a piss pod. AJ Star Hiker has been a channel member for 33 months at the Dumentite level. Thank you, AJ, and says, I'm just glad Classic Who is considered a different series than the new Who. I can watch 1 through 7 without having this crap come up as watch next. That's the sole surviving, shall we say, consolation on Who, is all the classic episodes that we can rewatch. And just, I advise people never to watch this shit again. Follow Tom's example. He didn't watch it. He's smart.
Star Was is what I call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Blackie Blackerson with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Blackie. Says, what I'd give for just one of these classic properties to be competently run, for a biased producer to just respect the fans that have kept it alive. Yeah, well, so say we all, man. So say we all. And Israel R. is a producer on tonight's Pop Culture Breakdown. Thank you so much, Israel R. You rock, man. He says, hail DC and panel. My sympathy to Whovians who witnessed the further humiliation of what was Doctor Who. As for the Acolyte, even some wokies can't deny the bad writing. And the Rings of Pang Season 2 is coming soon. Oh boy. Hashtag Doomcock was right. God bless. God bless you, Israel R. Thank you, buddy. We definitely appreciate you here at the Center of the Earth for being a producer on Pop Culture Breakdown. And we've got Andy Masterson is back here, and it looks like he's trimming his hair with a lightsaber light.
As you do.
You know, little hair.
Do they have a manscaping edition yet, Andy?
It's a Norelco.
Norelco. All right.
One because it was more appropriate for that show, but
well, thank you for that, Andy. All right, so let's talk about the god-awful fucking.
Before you do, I'm gonna actually jump out, and I want to thank you for having me.
Oh
no! Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Oh shit! Why, Tom?
Oh, I got my other show. I just, like I said, I had some extra time tonight, so I thought I'd pop in here and hang out with you guys for a bit. I haven't seen the Acolyte anyway, so.
Oh, you haven't?
No. I've seen bits and pieces of it when I edit it for Andre, so I mean, I'm through osmosis, I'm aware of all the bullshit, but like at this point, I mean, it's Star Was, as I just said before. I mean, it's not even. It's dead, Jim. I mean, it's been dead.
Man. It is. Well, I'm glad that we got to, whatever stuff that, you actually had,
Yeah.
had seen
No,
and
thanks.
we're discussing about. That was kind of perfect timing then. Well, Tom, thanks a lot, buddy. Love you, man. And, you do such a great job over at Midnight's Edge and
No, I
Midnight's Edge
appreciate
After
it.
Dark and Midnight's Edge Radio. And I mean, my God, how many midnight,
Lots. We're working on more.
Holy smokes, man. You're the hardest working man on YouTube. Tom, thanks a lot, buddy. Great to see you.
Appreciate it. And you got plenty of people who are more who are much better analysts when it comes to the Acolytes than I ever could be, like Nick here and so on. So yes, indeed. Take care of yourselves.
Well, thanks, Tom.
All right,
Have a
Tom.
good one, buddy.
See you later,
Good
man.
night, Tom.
Thanks for taking one for the team, guys. Take care.
We take it any way we can get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. All right, guys, the Acolyte. Now, let me just say, I didn't bother to screen cap this shit because, again, mostly it was just battle, and then, they let somebody go, or inexplicably, they get knocked down and they don't finish them off. And, and same thing with, Darth Zipperhead or Darth Gimp or whatever you want to, call him. They let him go, and it's just a complete fucking waste of time. Complete fucking waste of time. And even more insulting than the other episode, because once again, folks, this is the bestest Sith ever. This is the bestest Sith ever. This Sith basically executes damn near the entire cast of the Acolyte. So fucking powerful. It's a goddamn joke. It's a fucking joke. And the Guardian of Azarath points out the Sith's armor is made of cortosis, which can short out lightsabers from legends. Well, good for them. Then how come everybody doesn't wear it? How come everybody doesn't wear it? How come it doesn't short out his fucking lightsaber?
How come it didn't get explained in the show?
Right. It's just everybody's fizzling, just like I thought it was a visual metaphor for the fucking Acolyte. That, like, hey, we can't get our lightsabers up. Well, no wonder. It's a shitty script. I mean, I hate this shit. I'm really disgusted at how overpowered this idiot is. And, and also, I mean, never mind. I mean, the obvious thing is this completely ruins the Phantom Menace. The Sith haven't been heard from in a millennium. Well, not so much. It was just ask Kai, Kai Mundi over there. He'll tell you. This is fucking pathetic. This is fucking pathetic. And what does it do? It basically, did you notice that this sounds like Darth Vader? The voice sounds a lot like Darth Vader. So they're cucking Darth Vader. He's so much more powerful than Darth Vader ever was. More powerful than Kylo Ren, but that's not hard. More powerful than Qui-Gon Jinn. More powerful than Obi-Wan Kenobi. More powerful than Darth fucking Maul. Probably more powerful than Emperor Palpatine. Okay, Emperor Palpatine can do his little lightning trick, but can he kill a whole room full of Jedi without breaking a fucking sweat? Can he go ahead and throw them all back with a gesture? This is a systemic insult to every bit of Star Wars that came before. This is Jar Jar Abrams and the Star Killer base. I mean, it's the same comment I made last week, but it's even more so now because he killed all these fucking people. Only he let some of them live inexplicably, and inexplicably they let him live when they get the drop on him. What the fuck is that? Is Saul fighting this motherfucker or not? This guy massacre all of these Jedi or not? But it's like, no, I can't do that. And then he gets fuck this. Jesus Christ, it was awful. So we haven't heard from Nick yet today because he just came in. Nick, what's up? What's up with this shit? What did you think of this shit? And then we'll go around the table. Is Nick not here?
Oh, he didn't indicate he wasn't here. We can start with somebody else.
All right, let's start with somebody else. Gary, what did you think?
This was really hard to comprehend this episode. Again, we're seeing the same problem that we were seeing in Doctor Who, where a lot of the decisions that are made in what's going on in the show are based on emotions. They're not based on any kind of, cause and effect or debate of characters' personalities. It's the lightsaber battles behind a bunch of trees. Okay, wow, great. All you can see is a bunch of trees and some lightsabers going back and forth. It's like if you got ADD, yeah, you're locked to the screen. But again, yeah, you're talking about how they wound this Sith or whatever the hell he is, wounds this the Jedi or the Padawan, whatever the fuck they are, and doesn't kill them. A lot of strange, they're getting stabbed, which, hey, maybe they'll be revived. Maybe they're not dead. Literally, like one of the Padawans, I think, got stabbed 3 times. Probably going to be okay. And also, that was another thing. It wasn't one of the Jedi was training with the other little kids with the sticks, and yet that Jedi is out arresting people on missions. Is that?
Yeah.
Did she get promoted somewhere? Did I miss something? I mean, did she get stepped up and then
I think she's a Padawan, right?
So a Padawan shows up to arrest people with the rest of the Jedi. I don't know. It didn't make any sense. But she's gone, or maybe not. Maybe the back to chamber will heal the 3 chest wounds of lightsaber right through her chest. But there's so much. There's so much external dialogue, and one of the few rules of screenwriting is say what you got to say in as few words as possible. That rule is completely thrown out in this show. They are constantly clucking their beaks. Like that's why if there was a rooster around, to crow him to shut the fuck up, then we wouldn't even have a story. That's why there's no men in the story, because they probably tell them, look, stop talking and start lightsabering. But literally, that's all they do is they just hen cluck to each other about their fucking emotions. And there's an old saying when it comes to movies: show us, don't tell us. And again, we talk about this a lot on the show too. The story structure of Star Wars is 2-minute scenes. Then you go somewhere else. Unless it's like an epic battle. 2-minute scenes. If you have some exposition, get it done in 2 pages. Couple characters talking about something, trim the fat of the dialogue. That is not done here. We will literally sit for like 8 or 9 minutes, in the trees, and just one person talking, another person talking. They're crying, they're not crying. I'm telling you, paid by the teardrops. It's very, 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 very incoherent. I don't even know what the hell's going on. And I've watched every single episode of this so far. I can't figure it out.
Wow.
I really can't figure it out. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I mean, maybe it's just that I don't care. Maybe it's just that I don't connect with any of these so-called characters. But did I give a shit when any of them were cut down? No. I'm like, okay, well, that person's down, that person's down. Who do we have left? I don't even know what's going on. Then she cuts her hair with the lightsaber. Drama. It's all based out of emotion. It's not based out of logic or story. Everything's based on emotion. Ranting about feelings. I'm doing this as drama.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Nick, are you ready to talk?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. So, last night's episode, I thought it was the best of the worst this show has to offer. There wasn't enough in the episode to save the show, and there definitely wasn't enough in it to save the episode. I actually heard somebody word it quite well today. They talked about, the fighting and stuff, all that stuff. There was a lot of cool scenes and cool moments in a lot of the fights and all that sort of stuff. But when it's surrounded with bad directing, bad editing, bad storytelling, bad everything else that surrounds this whole show and this episode, then you're basically just all you got is visual noise, and that's pretty much what we ended up with. Now, when we were watching this last night, we were sitting there going, "What's wrong with these Jedi's lightsabers? Like, they keep going out. Did they forget to charge them before they went into battle or something? Like, what's going on here?" Like, we didn't know what was going on because Leslie Headland and the showrunners was like, this is the earliest era of live action Star Wars, so you don't have to have watched anything else or anything like that, to be able to watch this. Well, apparently you still have to do homework. You got to read all the Disney books and comics and all that sort of stuff to understand some of the stuff that's going on here during this High Republic era, because apparently the Sith's helmet is made out of something called cortosis ore, which basically shorts out lightsabers. Now, we, is the audience who never read any of that crap, weren't aware of this, and they cared to explain it 0% in this episode. So it just left a lot of people dumbfounded and confused. That's not good storytelling. That's not good directing. So yeah, this thing was filled with issues. But I will say, two of my favorite moments in this entire show happened in this episode: the death of Yord and the death of Jackie or Jakul or whatever her name is. I like seeing both of them die because I don't have to listen to them or see them on screen any longer.
It was the positive part of the episode.
Yeah, it was the positive part of the episode, but good Lord, man. Well, like, we went through a whole breakdown last night on this whole episode, and it was just one problem after another head-scratching moment, and what were they thinking during this? This doesn't make sense. It was, take all the flashy stuff out of it that I give credit where credit's due. That was, it had some cool moments and some cool scenes and stuff. And then the actor, I can't remember his name, who plays the Sith, that ended up getting revealed, Smilo Ren. I thought his performance was good. I thought he was a way better actor than any of these other people in this show. So I gave a point to him, but the episode for me, score wise, I still gave it a 4 out of 10. It was still trash.
It is trash. And I mean, I don't buy that, the guy is still walking around, Saul's still walking around. I mean, at some point they're all like kind of out of it. And,
yeah.
And nobody, but they can't get killed because of plot armor or something.
Yeah. And where was Soul a lot of that episode? Like, the whole time I'm going, where's he at? And then he teleports, ahead of these people that are running, comes out the side, out of the woods, right in the nick of time. May's talking about turning herself in, but then she's trying to kill him, and they're trying to arrest her, but then they're trying to save her. It was just so dumb. I'm like, what is going on here? None of this makes sense. I even saw some of the shill YouTubers out there. Basically, I saw one of them that said that they've given up, that they're not watching any more of this show. It's not for them. It's garbage. And when you got some big time YouTubers that shill for your company and for your shows, basically saying they're not watching anymore. The whole DEI woke agenda, identity politics stuff, that is the least of the problems with this show. There's way more problems here than just that, but that's definitely a part of it. But there's so many other problems. You could literally replace every single actor in this with a straight white male or female, and it would still be trash.
Well, I'm going to take issue with Nick a little bit, if I may, Doomcock.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think there was a real stunning and brave scene here, and I'm prepared. I've got a lightsaber here handy. I'm going to turn on my camera here. The power of one. Last week we learned on Xanadu that the power of one, the power of two, the power of a packet of tortillas cannot be underestimated with the Star Trek or Star Wars universe. This week I pulled out one of my lightsabers, which I actually took time to charge.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go camera on here, and lightsabers not only have the power, as we learned in the Acolyte, to cut hair, but they can transform from a salon perspective the color. Now,
Oh, looky here.
I'm gonna do a live present. This is an actual lightsaber. Mexican Iron Man is going to demonstrate the power of the Jedi Witch Force live here on Pop Culture Breakdown. Are we ready, Xanadu?
Yeah.
Let us do it. Let us do it.
5,
Mike,
4, 3, 2.
Whoa! Whoa! Wow! Holy shit!
Slick.
Yeah, I didn't know lightsabers could do that, until this episode. That they are the lawnmower 2.0 manscape or womanscape.
who needs a Floby?
Now coming to a galaxy near you, Mexican Iron Man salons.
The Force will coif you. May the Force be coif you. What other than that? How did you like the show, Mike?
Doomcock, this show is ridiculous, man. The haircut thing threw me out. The lightsaber battle was in the middle of the forest. It was typical Disney. It's dark, Doomcock. And Doomcock, how do you and I feel about dark shot anything?
I hate that shit.
Hate
Garbage.
that shit. And then I'm like, all right, so just so I can get things clear, I'm from South Carolina. We got mosquitoes that are bigger like pterodactyls out here, okay? I get it. But when those flying things came down and took Homeboy out, I'm just like, seriously? The mosquito, the space, whatever the hell those were, moths, mosquitoes, whatever the heck they were, like did something the Jedi couldn't. I'm like, get the hell out of here with this crap. Get the hell out of here. Oh, so annoying. Yeah. I am bored out of my skull. I don't care. Doomcock, I rooted when the Jedi died. I was like, yes. What's the matter with me? When did they make Mexican Iron? When in all my years of collecting lightsabers am I rooting for the Jedi to die? But I did this time.
Yeah, now I'm rooting for the bugs.
And by the way, since
let the bugs just get them.
And by the way, since these things don't kill people anymore, I'm just gonna hold it. However, I don't, in the olden days,
it doesn't matter.
Be like,
No, you must grab it by the hilt. This is the way of the Jedi.
Just grab that thing and hot twa.
Spit on that thing.
Yeah, spit on that thing.
Oh my God, it was bad. Doug, what did you think of this episode? What do you think?
Oh, it was great, It's just more of the same stupid. I guess out of the crap. This is. I only stepped in the dog shit. I didn't need it.
Yeah, that's where we are.
You had your lightsaber fights and all that, and stupid things like I guess Saul got knocked out further away than the other Jedi because it took a while for him to show up while his whole crew is being massacred.
Yeah,
and then the little Padawan girl. Well, she held her own the best against this, the greatest Sith ever. But anyway, it worked out, huh? And and then after all is lost, and Saul's got to take this guy on. So he tells Yor to take Osha, get her back to the ship. Well, as demonstrated in last episode, the ship is miles away.
A long
they had
way
to walk
away.
the entirety of the planet damn near to find the dead Wookiee, and because I don't know, force sense powers don't work in those days, and so it was like, hurry, get back to the ship. Well, it's gonna take all night and all day tomorrow, but okay. And then at least they got back to the bugs because they demonstrated them in the first episode. And then he kills one, and okay, let's go. Well, okay, that's a plot point for this one where OSHA that manages to outfox, Darth Smilo, and literally puts a "kick me" sign on his back. And he's defeated by giant bugs for a little while.
but Doug, isn't it funny that with all the waving lightsabers and all the forest, for an extended period of time, the bugs are only attacking at one at the end?
Yes.
So what the fuck were they waiting for if they're attracted to the light exactly?
And you see how amazing a scene that could have been with this swarm of giant bugs coming at the mother trying to fight each other. So, but nah. I guess they're more attracted to the little droid light than they are lightsabers. I guess I don't know. And this idiocy about his armor. Okay, so I guess that went out of style when Darth Sidious shows up and Darth Vader's armor wasn't made of it. What the hell is that? Good Lord, you're indestructible now. I mean, so okay. At this point, and of course with all the canon stuff that they just stumble over and get more than just maliciousness, they're just stupid, didn't know any better, and that sort of thing. At this point, just have Darth Vader show up. Just have him walk in there.
Well, they kind of did. I mean,
yeah, I know, but I mean, they get the actual Darth Vader. Like, well, wait a minute. Let's shut up. You might as well. So, yeah, it again, it's a stupid show.
Yeah.
Will they resolve anything? Well, after watching how Doctor Who did it, I'm guessing no. There was some kind of mystery about the fire at the Coven castle or whatever that was, and how the stone burned. They're never going to explain that. But nevertheless, who actually started it or whatnot? I just assumed, there's probably some other. No, probably not. I just don't know.
Well, keep saying, like I'll tell you about it sometime, and then wasn't it May this time, or was it Darth Zipperhead that said, why don't you ask Saul about
I know, kept insinuating, and he says, you don't remember me, do you? And I mean, do you mean from when they met you at his convenience store job or what? I don't know. I mean, that could be all it is. I mean, I thought, is this Saul has yet another Padawan that went bad. I mean, Saul, you really suck, and all that stuff. I don't know. And and again, with the business, if you have to walk miles to get back to the ship, and at the end, of course, the old, if you're going to have twins and one of them's evil, guess what's going to happen? Oh yeah, that evil twin's going to impersonate the good one. So of course, that's how it is. Oh my God, all that time getting back to the ship, and he never suspects. Just stupid things like that. It's just like, again, another show that doesn't respect itself. So why should anyone else? And so it's just awful. At best, the canon problems, I would have thought, the way you solve that is everybody dies at the end. They never get back to Coruscant, and the Coruscant's left with, gee, I wonder what happened. I don't know.
Well, that would be the only way.
That would be the only way, unless they're going to do.
Of course, they do have radios and shit, Doug.
But they'll probably, I know. Well, they weren't working, The Sith armor defeated the batteries in the radio as well. So I'm sorry, no communications, no Wi-Fi, nothing. And but ultimately, they'll probably take a page from STD where Spock says, "Hey, look, we just won't ever talk about my sister again." So here, all the Jedi will agree. Hey, look, we don't talk about that Sith ever again. And anyone brings up another Sith, we'll just say, what do you mean? They've been extinct for 1,000 years. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's the official statement, because boy, I tell you, this Acolyte business was really embarrassing, wasn't it? Oh yeah. So there you go. Dun-dun-dun.
This cortosis, is it possible to purchase this in condom form?
Possibly.
Oh man, that's an excellent idea. Finally, a great merchandising
Yes.
bit from the Acolyte. Get your Acolyte Cortosis condoms.
No midichlorians
Well,
can do this.
Well, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming every one of those witches had a catorsis of her own.
That vibrates.
I didn't see it, but
Oh, well.
I assume that's their happy place,
Yeah, that's
located
right.
below their F spot.
Yeah,
or
I
their-
think
no,
it's just
excuse
a
me, G
myth.
spot.
Yeah,
I think it's just a myth. The catorsis does not exist. We all know that.
Well, hey, let's not
That's
forget the
clitoris,
part
not
of it.
catorsis.
Oh, is it?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got
get those
mistaken there. I got confused for a minute. That's
That all
what
makes
the-
sense now.
Yes.
Yes. Holy shit. Scribe Light, what did you think of this episode?
Well, I mean, it brought back some memories of some really good fan films that were all done out in the woods with a couple of lightsabers. So there was that part of it. But my first thought was, Carrie Ann Moss gets taken out by May in the first episode, and then by this episode you have Jecki holding her own against a Sith master. And so I'm thinking, golly, the High Republic really puts the DEI in Jedi for the masters that they've hired because they don't know what they're doing, and they're getting trumped by their own students half the time. Like Gary mentioned earlier, is that none of these things were earned. The fight was not earned. The villain's weight was not earned. All of these things just kind of happen because they have to happen because it's Star Wars. There's no buildup to the Sith, and when he finally revealed himself or his mask got knocked off by an elbow or whatever, and he says, some call me Sith. I was back in the Monty Python territory. I was like, what? That's your line? I was like, yeah, but otherwise, you have to earn the significance of these things like lightsaber battles and enemies and everything. And this one Sith shows up, he pushes all these Jedi masters get knocked down by this. I mean, I tell you what, that is one powerful Sith. If he is a Sith master and he can do that, wowie wow, he's probably more powerful than Palpatine at that point in his age and in his experience, which is just, that's an amazing character. Where did this guy come from? It's not going to matter because I think, like was mentioned, the only way that you get out of this, and of course they don't really care about canon because we saw what they did with Ki-Adi-Mundi. They don't care about canon. The only way you can get around this is either everybody dies or enough people die and then the entire thing is suppressed by the Jedi because we can't let anybody know the Sith have returned or something. I'm not even sure where they can go with this at this point, and they keep breaking the rules. And I was thinking, I've had this thought last couple of years, especially with the Disney TV shows. I remember bad Star Wars before Disney Star Wars, and even bad Star Wars I loved. Even when it was a little goofier, got off the base a little bit, or maybe had a contradiction. It seemed like the EU, the Legends now, whatever the hell, it's such a blasphemy that they did that. It was done out of love and respect for the material. Like my guiltiest pleasure amongst the EU books is a little book called Dark Saber. It is the goofiest, cheesiest Star Wars story ever, where you have a small-time Hutt trying to build his own Death Star weapon just to take over whatever. And it's so goofy, but it's all done out of absolute love. I think Kevin J. Anderson wrote that. And he was one of the primary authors of Star Wars books back then. And even though it contradicted things, even though it made things a little off, I still loved it because you could tell somebody who actually loved the characters and was having fun with it. There's no fun here. There's no joy. There's no daring do or swashbuckle. There's no distinction between good and evil. They don't care about that. They like has been said so many. I'm not saying anything anybody hasn't already said, but like Gary has said before, these characters all think the same. They all have the same gray area of their morality and their intentions and so on. And so there's no real conflict. Like we're going to find out the Jedi killed off the Coven in some way, shape, or form. It's the Jedi's fault, which makes them effectively no different than the Sith because they're all about just taking out all their enemies without any kind of with no mercy whatsoever. So are the Sith and the Jedi all really that different in the end? Yes, they're supposed to be diametrically opposed, light versus dark. There's not a lot of distinction. You want gray area, you go for the scoundrels. You go for the Han Solos maybe and the underworld. But it's ever light and dark when it comes to the Force. There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. Forget that stuff. And it hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts me so bad to watch this thing be destroyed. And think about, like, I remember the olden days where I was like a teenager or something, and I could talk to somebody who was 10 or 15 years older than me about Star Wars, and we'd be on the same page about something. There was a shared, legend there. There was a shared culture. And now there's a dividing line that was artificially inserted by Disney because they thought they could do it better. And you had a whole bunch of jerkwad ideologues taking over a platform to push their message. Instead of pushing the story, instead of extending the universe, they wanted to extend their egos into the property. And now I don't think you can bring that back. It's a rift that I don't think can be healed unless they retcon all of this, turn it into Legends, and they just say, we're going to go back to the last book in the EU and just kind of build off from there. It's not going to happen, but, one can hope. That's about all I have to say. Otherwise, everybody else has covered all the other big stuff. Although Cortosis was old school Timothy Zahn territory stuff. So it has a pedigree of legitimacy, except that, and it is very rare. That was the thing. It couldn't be easily mined and so on. I think it was actually part of the Darth Bane trilogy, which would have been a much better Sith story to turn into a TV series if you're going to do that in the first place. But yeah, to just bring it up without mentioning it, no. I mean, for all the time that they spent on dropping exposition in this series, you think you'd give like a sentence or two about what Cortosis is and how it differs from other metals, but oh well. Anyway,
Darth Bane, who is she?
Yeah, exactly right. Who was that? Oh, wait. Wait, did you assume Darth Bane's gender?
Yeah, he did.
Hey, Scribe, I need you to check your mic. You're like crackling a lot as you talk.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, either you got a cable problem or you got to reset your interface with your mic, whatever your mic's plugged into. It keeps crackling every time you talk.
No, but Scribe Light made some good points. Again, for me, Robert and Andy, I mean, you guys haven't gotten a chance to really speak yet, but for me, the fundamental problem with this is that to my way of thinking, and maybe I'm being overly sensitive, but it seems to me that in jacking this clown up beyond all reason in terms of his power, it's so excessive compared to, I mean, fuck, Darth Maul couldn't do this. None of Vader couldn't do this shit. They're basically spitting in our faces. That's the essential. They're trying to basically piss all over Vader, Maul, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, every fucking Jedi, every fucking Sith. This guy is like super Sith, and it's just it's their juvenile way of kind of putting us in our place and saying that, oh, modern Star Wars is the bestest Star Wars ever because look at what a badass this guy is.
Yeah, and then they have the scene where Yord explains to Osha why he's so powerful, and he goes, "Oh, he somehow gets into our minds." And then you have the line where the bad guy won't take his helmet off because, "Oh, you're going to mind control me." I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. This isn't like the X-Men where Professor Xavier is going to get into Magneto's mind. Mind control doesn't work that way. As I recall in Star Wars, the Force can have a power over the weak-minded. Well, are you saying that all these Jedi are weak-minded people? And are you saying that the Sith is afraid that they're going to get into his mind because he's a weak-minded person? I mean, it's just stupid. It's not too canon. The other aspects of this are dumb. Yord has to take Osha away. They call her a civilian, and he's got a bad leg, and yet he can run just fine. And then, turn off your lightsaber, even though I've got a flashlight on, so the bugs don't get you. The lightsabers have been ignited through this whole thing. Where are the bugs? I mean, come on.
Then, Robert, that's a good point because if the helmet stopped the Force, then how the hell did Luke reach out and train with the remote? you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Remember
exactly.
he had the blast shield down and everything, and he kind of reached out. It was his first test, and wow, how stupid can this fucking show get?
It's dumb, and then it contradicts itself. So, like,
Yeah.
hey, last week we all of a sudden she wants to surrender, and the showrunner told us, oh, she's good now and wants to be good. And then when the Padawan says, hey, you're under arrest. Okay, fine, arrest me. I have insulted my brother. I have stolen from my brother. You know, like in the Golden Child, arrest me, arrest me. She didn't want to get arrested. She fights it. And I'm sitting there going, you wanted to surrender and now you're fighting it. What's going on here? Why are you breaking what you established last episode? Is there not a consistent writing from one episode to the next? I thought this was all one episode and they just cut it in half. This is dumb. It's stupid. And then you get into the fight and the bad guy throws away his saber and says, you Jedi, you're not supposed to attack an unarmed guy. And then they start the Kung Fu stuff. And I'm like, Kung Fu Jedi? I mean, I get that there's martial arts involved in it, but it's usually sword play. And since when somebody surrenders their blade, does that mean that you necessarily have to stop fighting after he's already killed almost all your comrades? I mean, it's just dumb. Kill the guy. The only cool redeeming thing about this is like a couple of shots where he has the knife blade in it and it kills the one Padawan. That was kind of cool. There were a couple of moves that were kind of cool and interesting, but the rest of this is just dumb. And then, Osha with putting the light on her back. I love you. Oh, I love you, iPhone. I love you, iPad. I love you, computer. I love you. You know, I just, what? Come on. Oh, who is writing this crap? It's awful.
I love you, Sabian.
Yeah,
It's a light Sabian, the weapon of a true dedicated lesbian, not as clumsy or random as a old-fashioned vibrating belt. An elegant sex toy of a more civilized age. But no, this is awful. I mean, the whole thing is not, as Scribelight said, unearned. You know, that's the thing I get. I don't get any sense that this guy, where the hell who trained him? He's just another adept, and he's the greatest adept ever, including Anakin, because Anakin couldn't do this shit. Obi-Wan couldn't do this shit. Compared to the shit that they were doing, the fight on Mustafar between Anakin and Obi-Wan was a joke.
Yeah.
But that's how they want to make it. That's the whole point, is to basically destroy what came before, and now introduce witches, introduce kung fu, introduce I guess light attracted bugs. Although if they're attracted to the light, then why are they sleeping during the day? I don't know. What sources of light are there on the planet, since it's largely uninhabited, except for the Wookiee, who probably drew his shades at night to avoid bugs coming in? I don't know. Does any of this shit make any sense?
No.
And where did it end up? I'm trying to remember where the fuck, because I think at that point I was in a coma, or I was too angry and I was seeing red. I mean, basically, he was fine. He walks away.
Everybody's dead.
It ended up with the
Except-
parent trap.
Yeah, they went off with Saul, and then Osha's still alive with the Sith guy.
Osha's with the Sith guy, and May is with Saul.
Yes.
And they can't tell them apart, or
No, because of the galactic haircut. We just covered this. When I zoom.
Those beads are made of cortosis.
Well, Saul can't read her mind or read her thoughts and tell that it's May and not Osha.
Oh my god.
So basically, Cortosis anal beads are a great defense for a lightsaber up the ass. Is that what you're saying? So in prison, for God's sakes, put some Cortosis anal beads up your ass just to protect yourself in Jedi jail. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Hey, I was pretty surprised that you did have the female Jedi penetrated by a man.
That's true. That's true.
I never expected to see that.
3 times.
Yeah.
You go once, twice, three times and 80. Yeah.
Is that like this?
Good, twice, 3 times and 80.
Exactly.
Buckwheat, the Sith.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan had this. I guess they're doing this.
See, it does come full circle.
It does, Doug. Anything else to add about where this is going? I mean, Scribe Light and I agree that it's going to be that the Jedi killed the Witch's Coven. That this Mayfire was complete bullshit from the start, and I strongly feel that's the only possible way to go, unless they're just plain not keeping track. And as far as the kind of jaggedy incoherence of the story, where she's going to surrender to them, now she's not going to surrender to them, that's the scrapbooking. That's like the fact that there's 3 different versions of this story out there, and they're just mixing and matching shit just to try and get through it all. What do you think, Doug?
Yeah, I think that's probably spot. I mean, and in a lot of ways, you're being too kind. Trying to explain how they get here. Well, the pretzels that happen in the production of these shows. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, and again, after sitting through Doctor Who and how they don't even resolve their own teases and plot points and whatnot, at this point, I always assumed that, yes, the Jedi would be revealed to be, the real villains here, especially since, what's his name, Master Torben did himself in rather than actually be killed by May. So why would he do that? What is he so guilty about? And so it would be assumed that we didn't get the full story on what happened to the Coven and that the Jedi were up to no good there, at least some of them. And maybe Saul was completely in the dark about it and that sort of thing. But then again, the way they go, they may just never even address it. I don't know.
Well, see, I think that just like we saw a little while ago, that the plot was revealed from the new Captain America movie and the toys that were produced.
Yeah. I've
managed to get my hands on some exclusive Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars merchandise. We have Harvey Weinstein the Hutt. And his right-hand man, Leslie Fortuna. So,
wow.
Leslie Good Fortuna, yeah.
I also understand that there's going to be some additions to this called Hannah Solo, Chewbacca, and Barbara Fett. It could be rumor.
And they're going to drop the Vey, and it's just going to be Darth Her.
Yeah. Yeah, right now they're watching this. Damn it, why didn't we think of that?
Quick. Should we call Hasbro? No, just go right to Ollie's.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God.
It's too bad this Andy guy's a man. Yeah, we can hire him for ideas.
Right.
Well, I'm flexible. That's all my pronouns.
Right. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Good Lord. Of course, I never underestimate fluidity. Oh, yeah.
Oh, but the wrong gender of fluidity. No. That gender fluid is not okay.
I thought that she should
in
be
a world.
Leslie Headtails seem more appropriate. I don't know.
Leslie Headtails.
Is my crackling addressed? Sorry, I just have to know.
No,
Like,
the microphone's too hot.
Good. What do you guys
really?
think?
Okay,
Yes.
I apologize.
Just turn the
No,
gain down a
it
little
sounds
bit.
good to me, Scribe Light.
We
I
can
don't
hear
know.
crackling. We can hear crackling.
I don't hear crackling.
I didn't hear any crackling. His mic was
Scribe Light, can
audible
you
to the rest,
talk
but
some
not-
more? Hold on
not
a
much.
sec here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll move further away from the mic. I don't know. I didn't change anything in my settings.
That's
I
a
mean,
little bit better.
I restarted. Maybe I was just too close to the mic. I
I
restarted
think
my.
that's what it was.
My
Yeah.
audio software. So apologies to the audience. Like I obviously can't hear it when it's happening. So
That's
if
fine.
if bugging you, sorry.
No, it sounds fine, man.
Okay.
It sounds good now. Don't worry about it. So essentially what we're saying, Andy, what you're saying, if I may say, then is it safe to say that the witches of Dathomir put the her in cis her?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Thank you.
Oh, now he's space voguing.
Actually, that was the Batusi you're
Yeah,
doing.
the Batusi. So there's
Which
bats
was
on that
invented by a
planet
woman.
too.
So this is really just awful shit. And how many? So this is number 5. So we got what, 3 more of this shit to deal with.
Oh my god.
God.
Yeah, I'm predicting that Saul's going to turn out to be the secret Sith all along, and he's going to have killed everybody, and for whatever reason. And what it's going to come down to is the 2 sisters have to, unite, and one of them will die, and one of them will carry on, and this whole thing is just one big therapy session for Leslie Headland and her sister that don't get along. And because I want to do Frozen in space. Like, good, you go do that. Like, but that's not Star Wars. Everybody I've heard online that is making up justifications for all this. That's literally what they have to do. They have to make up. Well, it didn't happen on screen, so this could have happened. Yeah, but it didn't, because it didn't happen on screen and it wasn't explained anywhere, so it didn't happen.
Right.
Just like this cortosis thing wasn't explained on screen. So all we know for anything is that the lightsabers were short circuiting because, I don't know, maybe they're made on some third world planet that that for cheap labor costs. Damn Jedi.
Knock off
always
kyber
cutting
crystals.
A small distant planet in the outer rim called Chinooine.
The fearless Emperor Pooh.
And as it turns out, the main Sith villain, Darth Panda Express delivery guy, knows where the factory is for these knockoff. Yes, Gary finally got that. Darth Panda Express delivery guy knows where these hidden cheap kyber crystals are. And he snuck them into the...
You're running through the woods from a homicidal maniac in the dark woods with your flashlight on. I mean, isn't that like, putting up like, that's why rest stops are well lit, so that you actually stop in them? Oh, I wonder where she could have gone. Let me use my force powers. Oh, screw that. There's the light. It might be her.
Oh, and let me throw my lightsaber that acts as a boomerang and flies all around chasing you.
Oh God, that was that fucking lightsaber like boomerang was the worst shit. I mean, it just like, and all the trees like pause, and then like in a Looney Tunes cartoon, they fall down. All it was. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Well, that's something that really bothered me. Okay, so Scribe pointed out with the whole here's the Padawan that kicks the girl's ass who defeated the Jedi Master. And I brought this up to a friend of mine. He was like, yeah, well, that was because he was distracted. She was distracted by saving the civilian. Like, oh, really? Well, for one thing, he should have just like flicked it and boom, right back to business. You don't have to stop the blade and watch it lower down to the counter to know that the guy's not going to get stabbed with the throwing knife. Okay. You could have just, because we just saw like, Smiley Wren there, like wave his hand and knock the other girl off. But then he forgot how to use those force powers, like throwing people back and forth.
Right.
I've been doing martial arts for 40 years now. I've done sword fighting, I've done stick fighting, all these things. Like, and you know what doesn't happen? One person can't take on 6. I'm sorry. Like, look, Darth Sidious, like, the best of the best, managed to take on 4 and got his ass kicked by the last guy. Okay, so all right, maybe, but 6 of them, and you whoosh, and they took out the Jedi Knights, but the Padawan gives you the most trouble.
Right.
There's no consistency whatsoever. These people, like, I don't know what the hell they were doing in English class and writing class, other than, like, listing more possible pronouns for themselves and what color hair they're going to dye themselves, and why the hell does, is there a correlation between blue hair dye and your waist size? I don't know, but it's like it's just this thing that, like, why aren't you making these things come together? When you put a plot point out, you have to answer the question at some point in there, why did this happen? And it shouldn't be that you have to go and, like, well, here's the appendices that you have to read along with to follow this thing to understand where it came from. Because Leslie's just such a genius. No, she's not. She can't write. She can't run a show. The only thing I bet she can do is book appointments for Harvey Weinstein, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Can I cut in real quick?
Go ahead,
and
Scott.
again, now I'm paranoid about crackling, but anyway,
You sound okay, man.
the nerdery that seems to be missing here. You remember when we were kids and we'd say to ourselves, "Gosh, what would happen if Superman fought the Hulk?" Right? Knowing what we know about Superman, knowing what we know about the Hulk and their weaknesses and their strengths, what would happen? What I dream would happen with one of these Star Wars shows is that they would make one of those Marvel cards for each character that has their power levels on the back. And every time they decide, okay, we're going to put these characters in the scene together, they stop and say, what would happen if these two actually fought? With some consistency, has been said, with some rules that we do not violate or veer off from without a really good explanation. And when you don't do that, when you have May take out Carrie Ann Moss, and then you have a Padawan take on a Sith Lord, it removes, I mean, vermicelitude. What I'm an English major. I don't even know that word very well. The sense of immersion. I think about, video games that talk about being so immersed these days. I can't immerse myself in a world without understandable guidelines and rules that I can then sort of inject myself or my thoughts into. And like I said before about building up and earning those kind of confrontations. If you establish that May can take down a Jedi Master, and then suddenly she's got to go up against a Padawan, you're like, you would feel fear for that Padawan until the Padawan busts out like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something against May. And then it's like, wait, what? And then I just don't care. I don't even care about the fate of the character at that point, because there's no sense of vulnerability. There's no sense of suspense. All you can think is, okay, anybody can do anything at any time, depending on what the story or the whim of the storyteller wants it to be. The fight between Jecki should have been a 2-second round. She throws a knife right in her throat and it's done. It shouldn't have been anything. And we should have felt fear for Jecki when she goes up against May at that point, given what we've established. But then at that point, you've established, okay, we can't take anything for granted, not even the rules that the storytellers themselves have set up. And that really ruins. I mean, maybe even in a bad show, if I have a character that's like, this is the established big bad, holy cats. Okay, well, what happens? And really, the first episode, you don't blow your load on the first shot, man. You don't take down a Jedi Master as the first thing. You have to build up to that boss monster. You got to go up. You got to see some development in her skills or something. When I saw the title, The Acolyte, originally, I thought, I'm going to see a Sith Master training their Acolyte, like in real time, effectively. A little bit like in Force Unleashed, the video game, where Darth Vader sends his apprentice off to a progressively more powerful Jedi to take out. There's going to be an arc. There's going to be a development in skill, lessons learned. Well, she's already a Jedi Master killer at the beginning. You take away the Star Wars veneer, it's just terrible storytelling. And it ruins everything. I could go on, but I'll just start babbling.
No,
Well,
that's
very
an
clear.
excellent point.
It's very clear there will be no loads blown on this show.
Oh man! Oh, did anybody mention the the Clark Kent theory of I cut my hair, but I leave my tattoo on my forehead, and now I'm going to pretend to be somebody else deal. She still has that cult insignia on her forehead when she takes her sister's place. Now, setting aside the fact that a Jedi Master should be able to easily sense the dark side in this person coming towards them, as compared to the sister. Setting aside that the cauterized locks of hair and smell of burnt hair wouldn't give it away. Setting all that aside, she's got a tattoo on her head that separates her from her sister, literally on her face. What?
You're right.
Is there some kind of like forced camouflage being done here? Is she doing a Jedi mind trick on him? Like, I don't have this tattoo. It just even on the, like, even if you can set aside, oh, this is some deep lore or some abstract force. No, just on the visible level, it makes absolutely no sense where they're going with this next step in the story. Just
Sorry,
That's
that was a good
110%.
point. That brings up a good point.
That's a
because
great point.
maybe somebody with a less receding hairline can tell me, but are hair products flammable?
I don't know, man.
Well, Michael
But
Jackson will tell you that. Remember the Pepsi commercial of the day?
Oh, I know it. But Scribe Light, that's a great point. And I mean, there's no way that they can camouflage that.
Well,
I mean,
Space Hamster's going to recognize her as the bad guy too. You've already set that up.
oh yeah, Space Hamster with the sniffing, the stupid like sniffing of the. Oh God.
Well, wait, he's a space gerbil. That plot point will come in later.
Is Richard Gere the Chancellor or something?
Exactly, Scribe Light.
NA is so high.
Man, that's a great point, because I forgot about the stupid tattoo, but that's absolutely correct. I mean, she's got it right on her forehead, and she goes off with Saul, and Saul doesn't know, or is he playing along?
Well, see, that's how that works. You just ignore it because you're not interested in her on any level.
That's what it was. Is I was just bored out of my mind.
Right, so you don't see it
at that point.
And Saul lost all credibility that he built up as the only logical, decent character in this whole freaking show. He lost all that credibility in this episode because of the way that he's presented in everything he does. He doesn't kill the Sith. He doesn't recognize that the two twins, the difference is, and he's nowhere to be found at some points. And then he's all of a sudden somewhere where he should be thousands of feet away. I mean, this is such bad writing, and they've broken their own rules.
So in the chat, Scribe Light says, "Better not call Saul."
I can't help but say that I think you guys are noticing too much, and I think this is some racism here.
Mike is so.
I heard it from Disney people. I'm just online reading the Twitter. I'm just saying, you people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but on the bright side, according to those rumors, Larry Dracula's got a career in Disney.
That's right. That's right. In the C-suite, he's going to be up there.
Oh,
using it
sorry.
at night.
Tornadoes in the chat. I completely forgot. Yeah, earlier I was going to try to show off my nascent math skills on the cost of this. So to be very brief, based on the average cost of each episode, this episode cost, and I think this might be the full thing, not just the show itself, but also like the flash or the previously on and the credits. If I'm correct, every second of this episode cost $13,157.89. Every second.
Wow.
And I can't even joke and say worth every penny, because fuck no.
Where did it go? Where did the money go?
Yeah, I think you're right. I did the math myself, but I did it at 40 minutes. But I think the average episode's 35, right?
I thought it was average. I thought the average on the episodes was 22.5 million per episode. So if you break and this episode was, at least as far as I saw, 28 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
you break that down.
You're 100% right.
Second. Yeah. So just over $13,000 a second. And where did the money go?
That's some expensive beaver sniffs of I'm sorry, hamster, whatever that was. Gerbil.
Guys reported that it's probably more than 180 million. That with reshoots, it's probably a lot more.
Well, with reshoots and everything else, yeah, that's just the estimate that they know of. So it's ultimately probably a lot more.
Wait till the green chick leading the Jedi Council is revealed to be Darth nepotism.
This is unbelievable, man. This is absolutely unbelievable. The insanity of the expense. I mean, you look at this episode, Gary. You know, if we shot this episode out in the woods, largely in the dark, with store-bought lightsabers and maybe a little glow added in post or something, I bet we could have made this fucking episode for shit. What? $100,000?
Oh, I was gonna say a lot less than that.
A lot less. Probably 50,000. Shit. Maybe 20.
Store-bought Target lightsabers.
I know.
We could probably get around maybe 15, 20.
Dude, you come to my house. I got 25 of them on my walls everywhere, and I got good shit, dude.
There we go. Free lightsabers. So
dude, I got stuff like this. Solid metal steel. And
off season at Spirit Halloween, you can get those Jedi outfits cheap.
There you go.
Yeah.
Plus, I got a lot of woods on the property, so you can shoot it there.
And you guys have seen in this show, have you
Not
seen
to pay any rent or nothing?
You guys have seen my wig collection, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't have to buy any lights or anything either, So fuck it. Use our phones,
Yeah.
Shit, we could probably do this for about $8, Doom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Are we setting aside any union issues? I mean, if we shot it not in California and shot it somewhere that doesn't, have union shit or something, I mean, you could.
Valverde.
I mean, I was kind of factoring in union shit and stuff, but I bet you, shit, we could probably make this thing for $20,000 easy.
Easy.
Well, the thing is that for us, it would be a fan film and it would still look better.
Yeah, there are fan films from the early 2000s that look, and both in like appearance, directing, and even story, character development in like 20 minutes or something are better than this stuff. It's amazing.
Right, because there is some. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, would be added in post that would make it even better, and that's probably what most of this is, because you had all the bugs and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
A
lot of this is personal fees. That's where I'd say the money's going.
Yeah, it's all. When you have 5 minutes of credits at the end and it's all the producers.
Oh yeah.
Or it's gone into things that ended up on the cutting room floor because they reshot it. I mean, there was this one, I forget who it was in the previous episode when one of the characters was hanging upside down. I think it was our Sith Lord, not quite revealed yet. There was like a junket interview between those two actors where she said, "Oh, and at one time I was hanging upside down." So there was a whole separate storyline where she ended up being in the trap versus him, and who knows where that went or how much went into that was spent.
Right.
I think I'll wrap up this discussion with the way I wish that this episode had gone. When all of the Jedi and the Sith are waving their lightsabers around in the air in the woods, I wish a jetliner had landed on them.
Right here.
Yeah, see, that resolves everything.
And boom, and that's it. And then we could even have like the boom and have Lost. Just
yeah.
Because this is basically, I mean, Lost is basically Doctor Who. I mean, this last episode of Doctor Who was Lost. Lost built up all these mysteries. Never solved any of them. It was a complete lie all along. And Ruby Sunday essentially is Lost in microcosm, just a small version of Lost where none of her mystery will ever be explained. None of it is real. It's all a load of crap that they never intended to solve. So fuck you, RTD. Fuck you, Lost. Fuck you, Jar Jar Abrams and Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof and all of you hacks that were involved in that. The worst television show of all time, because it was a con game. Lost never even had the honesty of a bad plot. It didn't have any plot. Those fuckers. All right. Don't get me started on Lost again, because I will just go on and on and on about it. But now it's time for Super Chat. And in the chat, Do the Evolution 78 says, Doomcock loves the BB-8 droid. You bastard, bringing that up. I hate BB-8 more than I can fucking say. I swear to God. It's like Jar Jar Abrams' perfect, like, creative streak. It's like, hey, I've got an idea. Let's rip a droid head off and stick it on a fucking beach ball. Beach ball 8. Fuck you. Fuck you, Jar Jar. And fuck BB-8. Worthless piece of shit. All right, let's go ahead and read these super chats, damn it, before I start ranting. Reno's getting upset. Doomcock's getting upset. Who's been a channel member for 10 months. Thank you, my friend. Says, my lord, pop culture breakdown is my guilty pleasure. Why guilty? You don't have to be guilty to enjoy us, my friend. Hell no. You're welcome here. There's nothing wrong with loving pop culture breakdown, but I thank you very much. Reno's getting upset. Big Daddy MRI gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. What a great guy. Hail to the great Big Daddy MRI. John Getz with a $5 super chat. Thank you, John. He says, reminder that if not for the British preserving them, many tombs and their artifacts would have been lost to time due to locals selling off valuables. Yeah. Yes. So in other words, the British cultural appropriation stopped the vandal appropriation of those same treasures. So, you know, maybe a nice thank you to the British Empire for discouraging these thefts and preserving history might be kind of appropriate. What do you say? You woke fucks. Codex with a $5 super chat, and it's his 5th super chat ever. Thank you, Codex. Says, here's a question. Why didn't Sutek ever team up with himself the numerous times the Doctor has crossed paths with himself? That's a good question. Because maybe all of that is bullshit. Like, the only way that Sutek could have gotten on the TARDIS from his, like, specific tunnel from Mars to Earth is if the Doctor stupidly flew through it at exactly the right time and he could latch on. The whole thing is just stupid, Codex. There is no explanation for it. The explanation is it's nonsense and it doesn't make any fucking lick of sense at all. That's the answer. Muzzle Velocity also gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. Thank you so much, Muzzle Velocity, and hail to you, my friend. Very generous. Your Muslim Uncle has been a channel member for 40 months and says DEI is the Bermuda grass of entertainment and fun. Thank you, your Muslim uncle. Actually, it's more like the AstroTurf, emphasis on the ass. Thank you, your Muslim uncle. AstroTurf. Yes, that's what gay dogs scrape their ass on instead of carpet, you know. Yeah, I hate it when dogs do that, or cats. You see your dog like hump walking his ass across the carpet. You know where that ass has been. It's not very welcome. Alex Sawchuck with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Alex. Says, today is a wonderful day. I passed my probation exam at my fire department, so I'm official now, and now I get to hang out with the future ruler of Earth. Well, congratulations to Alex Sawchuck, and thank you for being a firefighter, man. You know, firefighters unabashedly are heroes. You know, that's just the bottom line, man. The firefighters are the best out there. God bless you guys, putting your lives on the line to save people's homes, save people's lives, save people's pets. You make the world a better place. God bless the firefighters of this world. Truly. They have even helped the future ruler of Earth once upon a time. And Israel R has been a channel member for 4 months at the Dumentite level, and he is a producer on tonight's Pop Culture Breakdown. Thank you, Israel R. Says, hail Doomcock. Thank you for your efforts to defend and preserve our pop culture, and hail all in Xanadu. God bless. God bless you, Israel R. Thank you, sir, for being a producer and a supporter of this show. Tony Yule, Captain Seagal of the Black Templars, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tony. Says ex-Disney employee spills the beans on working for evil Disney. on Echo Base Network. I cannot wait to see it. Cannot wait to see it. Thank you, Tony Yule. And hail to you, Tony. Jordan Iron Knuckles is a new channel member, actually renewed their channel membership at the Dumentite level. Thank you, Jordan Iron Knuckles. Dearest with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Dearest says Disney will say time on set and experience as reasons. Obviously not sexist, unless it's someone else with rational reasons. Dearest, it's a very interesting thing. You know, the numbers don't lie. The data doesn't lie. And I think that there's interesting questions to be asked there. That's all I'm saying. I really do. Ben Dowdy has been a channel member of mine for 32 months at the Dumentite level. Thank you, Ben. Says, hi, folks. Sorry I'm late. No worries, my friend. I'm glad you made it. That's the most important thing. And Wayu Hatan with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. He's got a great question here. Says, how long until they roll out the Rainbow Daleks? That's right. Inseminate, inseminate. Wayu Hatan. I wonder. probably next season, the Rainbow Daleks. Inseminating right and left.
Dude.
What?
That's so good.
What? Uh-oh. Inseminate. And Muzzle Velocity says in the chat he made the same joke. Yeah, I know. It's a good one, man.
This chat is so good.
They are great, aren't they? Hail to the Muzzle Velocity. Good night, Richard Spank. Thank you for popping in, brother, and thanks for talking earlier in the Archvillain chat. We really had a good time, man. Trevin Lane with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Trevin. Says Slick Willie is in medical for ignoring my warning and pulling a 500-pound gynoid into himself. He should be okay by Friday Night Frolic, says the gynoid did not fall on him. Well, thank you, Trevin Lane, for that update. Slick Willie is one of the impressions that I do on Friday Night Frolics. On Fridays, come on by and say hi to President Slick Willie, or President Clinton, as he was formerly known. Dark Saber Force has been a channel member for 18 months at the Dumentite level. Thank you, oh Dark One, and says, first off, big thanks to Tom for warning us about phony baloney for years. And second, can this leaked info help out Gina in court for her advantage? You know, I'm interested. I haven't actually heard any solid confirmation that Gina's case is moving forward. I thought that like it was initially like leaked and then it turned out to be premature, and I haven't heard a damn thing since. Has anyone got an accurate update on the status of Gina Carano's case? I thought a ruling was going to come soon as to whether it could proceed or not, and discovery would commence, but I haven't heard a solid thing about it, and I'm just wondering what's going on with it. John Q. Ghost with a $10 super sticker of Super Pair flying through the air, speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting all who rob or plunder, Super Pair. Thank you, John Q. Ghost. And Jack White with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Jack. Says Sargon had a good video he did about the right side of history and the problem with it. I would recommend the panel and listeners check it out when they get a chance. It's on his original YouTube channel. Thank you, Jack. Hail to you, sir. A good update from our friend, Jack White. What a great guy. And Renato Gordaio with 5 Brazilian reals, I believe. Hail, Renato, or Renato, I believe it's how it's called in Brazilian. Renato says, may God bless you all people. Big fan from Osasco, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hail, Renato. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here, and it's nice to know that we have some listeners in Brazil. Thank you, my friend. Tony Yule, again with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tony. Says August 6th earnings call is looking very interesting. I doubt any of this stuff will come out in the earnings call, Tony. I would love it if that would happen, but I mean, they're getting more and more stage managed every time they do it. Since Iger strongly fears, exactly this sort of thing. So I guess we'll have to see. We will be paying attention to it, though. August 6th, folks, we'll be there. Jody Cerner with a $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Jody. Says, sigh. I don't think we will ever see good sci-fi again. No, that's not true, Jody. That's not true. Over on Apple TV, just in the last year or so, they did a show called Severance, which is an extremely disturbing and thoughtful science fiction show. And season 2 is due, any time now. It really is good. Apple TV Severance. You do see some good sci-fi here and there. I could say more, but I don't want to spoil any stuff. But it's out there. You just really have to look for it, and most of it is crap. You have to wade through a world of shit to find the one nugget of corn, like Severance. So stick with it, folks, and hold your nose until you find that kernel of corn. That's all I can offer you. And of course, watch us. We tend to root those things out like truffles. We'll bring them to you. We'll bring them to you. Patrick James with a $50 super chat. You, sir, are a producer on Pop Culture Breakdown tonight. Thank you, Patrick James. And he says, listen up, as this is important to me. Don't anyone ever give up or give in. Pop Culture Breakdown, you are appreciated by me and mine. Love you all. Love you too, Patrick James, producer on Pop Culture Breakdown. We thank you for the encouragement, my friend. We thank you for never giving up, never surrendering. We will do the same. We will do the same. And Jody in the chat says, disturbing though, I don't do disturbing sci-fi. Thanks though. Well, then you may be fucked, Jody. I don't know that there's any good, positive, fun sci-fi out there, but there is good sci-fi. A lot of it, unfortunately, though, is dark or dystopian because, we can read the writing on the wall, can't we? Hail, Patrick James. Thank you for the encouragement. We will never give up, never surrender. Crimson Phantom with a $10 super chat. Thank you, oh Crimson One, says Sutek, the god of all gods, the god of death, the one who struck fear into the heart of the celestial toy maker, gets defeated by getting leashed and taken for a walk. Hail to the Crimson Phantom. Oh, holy shit, that's right. Sutek, god of all gods, god of death, got defeated by getting leashed and taken for a walk. Out fucking standing. Thank you, Crimson Phantom. Truly outstanding, man. I love it. SFX F314 Sabertooth Raptor with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Says Culture Casino's Island TV show would be a much better show than Acolyte. Plus, Mexican Iron Man is in the cast along with Tom of Midnight's Edge. I hope you're not talking about that. There was a show, God, I can't, it was one of the worst things I ever saw in my life. It was like these guys on this island, and it was so fucking bad. I couldn't handle it. I hope that's not what you're talking about, SFX Sabertooth Raptor. It was unfucking godly bad. Oh, it was really. I should make us all watch it just to see how far you can get into the first episode before you run screaming from the room. I really should, and maybe for Halloween I'll make you all do that. SFX F13 Sabertooth Raptor with another $2 super chat says Mexican Iron Man flying an F-14. Epic. That would be good, man. I'd pay money to see that.
The taco zone.
The taco zone. We were doing the same fucking thing, man.
The canopy is not a window. The canopy is not a window.
Except when I take off, instead of like dun, 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 it's gonna be dun, 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 whoosh, goes the catapult, and then the catapult launches me off.
I wish you were playing Colonel Kilgore in Apocalypse Now, and then as you were like heading for the beach, those helicopters, it would be playing You know, and all the, you know, Vietnamese are running in terror. Ah, that would be great.
I can see it.
I can see it too.
Don't Tim Mexican Iron Man with a good time.
Oh yeah, and the missiles would have things like "Run for the Border" written on the side, or you know, things like that. It would be awesome. Nathan Robinson with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Nathan. Says, I've seen 90% of Jack White's anime picks. Good stuff. Jack White, do you hear that? Nathan Robinson says, I've seen 90% of Jack White's anime picks. Good stuff. Holy shit. Well, Jack White, you are making an impact, sir. You are making an impact, and you should be proud. Mike D with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Mike. Says, check out the Metal Gear Solid series. One of my all-time favorites, Solid Snake, Naked Snake, Big Boss are inspired by Snake Plissken. Oh, of course they are. Outstanding, Mike D. Hail to Snake Plissken. Hail to Metal Gear Solid. I've heard such great things about it. I've never played it, but I guess I ought to go ahead and give it a shot, shouldn't I? And Donut Lord has been a Dumentite for 8 months now. Thank you, Donut Lord. Says, I burst out laughing when she cut her hair with the lightsaber. Bro, like, what? Also, where is all this money going? Disney is high as fuck. Thank you, Donut Lord. You know, I've heard lots of experiences. I mean, lots of, shall we say, guesses as to why Disney sucks so bad. I've never heard it hypothesized that they're high. They're just high. You know, I could have made good Star Wars, but I got high. Yeah, we'll have to ask Iger about that. Maybe on the investor call. What do you say? And the White Snake with a $5 super chat says, I tell myself it's all just a bad dream. I hear you. But I cannot convince myself that it really is all just a bad dream. I'm not able to delude myself that much thus far. Grant Potato with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Grant Potato. Says, cortosis is really fragile. It makes for poor armor. That's why his helmet breaks so easily. It's also really rare, only mined on 2 planets. It shorts out lightsabers on contact. Well, you would think that the first time that their lightsaber shorted out, they'd know, well, there's some of that cortosis shit, and force chuck a rock at it. I mean, wouldn't that be the thing to do? Just break it, you know? Or how about this? Don't hit the helmet. How would that be? Maybe just don't do the headshot once your lightsaber shorts out. You know, if they knew about this shit, then why wouldn't they do these things? The answer, of course, bad writing. And Smith Barron. I am honored, Smith Barron, to have received your first super chat of all time. Sir, we appreciate it. Hail to you, Smith Barron, and thank you for the generous donation to the channel. And Smith says so. Ahsoka feeling she's Anakin's legacy. Is Sabine Anakin's inheritor through her? That's how Filoni fixes the Skywalker family's ruin. The girl boss students rebuild the Jedi where the sun failed. Oh, what do you think? What do you think, Rob?
Oh no, that's stupid. First of all, Sabine shouldn't even be a Jedi. She shouldn't have any force powers. That's BS. That should never happen in that show. Ahsoka probably should be dead according to Lucas anyway, but it's just so stupid. No, there's nothing to do with Skywalkers. Luke Skywalker was in The Mandalorian. He was in the first part of Boba Fett. He's the legacy. That's it. He and Leia. That's it. There's nothing else. Okay? The rest of this is garbage. And Filoni, who's approving all this Acolyte stuff and all the Ahsoka stuff, doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't tell a good story, and it's crap. So, no. And if they make it that way, I'm not going to watch it. It's dead. It's died.
It's all dead anyway, but Smith Barron or Baran? Smith. How do you pronounce your last name, my friend? Smith Baran. I like the sound of that. Put Filoni fixes the Skywalker family's ruin in quotes. So he was, just to be clear, being ironic and cynical towards Filoni being a complete idiot. So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think that, yeah, I think we knew that. Thank you, Smith Baran. All right, let's go ahead now and turn to a movie that we love. And that movie, my friends, is Johnny Dangerously. This is a movie that I know many lines from, even though I've never had the chance to see it. And I was hoping to have the chance this week to watch it. I had the copy, and I just got fucked. I got fucked with various personal things that came up, and then I got fucked having to watch the Ahsoka, the Acolyte, and Doctor Who. It's been a shitty time, folks. It's been a shitty time. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot to share about this, but fortunately, we have Gary Ambrosia here to make up for this deficit. Gary, what do you know about this movie?
Well, I will say this. Out of all the movies that we've done so far, this was the most difficult to find anything on. Anything
Oh,
at
shit,
all.
really?
Yeah. Yes, but I was able to find some stuff. So here we go, guys. I don't know if you wanted to tune out. There's a couple.
I'll keep an eye out, but
okay.
I'll just keep an eye out.
Okay, here we go. Johnny Dangerously. Straight out of the roaring 80s comes the best Fargan send-up of the classic gangster movies, helmed by the up-and-coming director Amy Heckerling, starring the incredibly funny, charming, and talented pre-Batman, pre-Beetlejuice Michael Keaton, one of SNL's funniest schmucks to come out of Jersey, Joe Piscopo, straight off the set of Taxi, Mary Lou Henner and Danny DeVito, young Frankenstein himself, Peter Boyle, and a whole mess of other talented supported cast. Produced on a budget of $9 million and bringing in over $17 million at the box office during its initial release. According to producer Michael Hertzberg, the concept of Johnny Dangerously came from the success of his other parody epic, Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. One of that film's writers, Norman Steinberg, along with Bernie Kukoff, Harry Columbia, and Jeff Harris, wrote a treatment that would become the screenplay nicknamed Blazing Tommy Guns. The treatment sat around at 20th Century Fox for 7 years before Hertzberg finally put together the production package with Heckerling as director and Keaton starring in the lead role. Apparently, the director and actor had read the script in the late 1970s, but were finally deemed big enough box office draws themselves to get the film into production in 1983. Believe it or not, before the dark times, there were very few female directors in Hollywood. However, of the few that made it to the top, they were absolute mavericks in their craft. During an interview, Amy Heckerling says that her favorite movies were the Warner Brothers gangster films starring James Cagney, Edward G. Robinson, and the like. In a play to position herself as a comedy director for hire, she took on Johnny Dangerously just 1 year after her breakout film Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982. Her follow-up film was National Lampoon's European Vacation, the sequel to the John Hughes, Harold Ramis comedy opus. This proved to be a very frustrating project for her, as she was forced to deal with the all too well-known on-set antics of Chevy Chase. Richard Dimitri, who plays Roman Moroni, cleverly saved the film from an R rating by performing his profanity-laden dialogue as if he did not speak proper English. This became the staple of the film and has made Johnny Dangerously quotable to this very day. Upon its first submission to the MPAA, the film did receive an R rating, but was cut down and resubmitted, which gave them a PG-13 rating for release. Boy, would I like to see those deleted scenes. That would have been interesting.
Oh.
The real villain of the film, Dr. Magnus, who extorts Johnny for astronomical sums of cash for treating his dear old mother, was played by Carl Gottlieb, the screenwriter of Jaws. Other cameo roles include Dom DeLuise as the Pope, Ray Walston as the blind newsstand vendor, Joe Flaherty as an impatient death row inmate, the skipper himself, Alan Hale Jr., as a police dispatcher, screenwriter and director Neil Israel, who plays Dr. Zillman in the Enlarged Testicles PSA, and who was married to Amy Heckerling at the time, and last but not least, Clyde, the Schlitz malt liquor bull. After seeing an advanced screening, Brian De Palma became such a fan of this film that he decided to cast both Joe Piscopo and Danny DeVito in his gangster comedy Wise Guys. I didn't know that. Wow. While imagining their new lives together, Johnny and Lil Sheridan stand at a window and discuss their future plans. Johnny says he would love to say hi to a neighbor named Fred. This is an homage to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which Keaton worked on as a stagehand during his early years in Pittsburgh, referring, of course, to Fred Rogers. Apparently, Danny DeVito was worried that he might not make it to set on time for his scenes, as he was still in Mexico shooting Romancing the Stone, which was last week's movie. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is.
Weird Al Yankovic recorded a title song for the film called This Is the Life, which aired on MTV with its own video, but was cut from the VHS release due to CBS and Fox not having the music rights sorted out for home video. When I first saw this movie when I was a kid, it was on home video. My dad had rented it from the rental store, and he had a Betamax machine too, so we taped it. And it didn't have the title song in it, this Weird Al song. And then when I bought it on DVD, I'm like, wait a second, I never heard that song. It was very interesting. That was the reason why they didn't have the rights to it. Let's see, my final note. Apparently Sylvester Stallone was originally approached to play Johnny Dangerously. Who knows how this would have turned out? Michael Keaton says he is unsure of this being a fact, but it does make sense because in one of the on-screen newspapers, the supposed photo of Johnny Dangerously was actually a still of Stallone from Rocky. So it makes sense. But this movie is fucking hilarious. This movie, Doom, this movie is very Warner Brothers cartoon. It's very slapstick. It's very Naked Gun. And I was really looking forward to hear what your opinion was of it. So I hope that you enjoy it. I don't think I gave away any spoilers or anything like that. I really couldn't find much on this at all.
No, you didn't. And I will watch it, and I will call and let you know what I thought of it once I see it.
This movie, my sister and I have watched, dozens of times a year since I was a kid, since we first saw it. And we pee our pants laughing every time we see it. It is so fucking funny. Didn't do very well. The critics obviously panned it. Siskel and Ebert, they're a bunch of blowhards, though. They don't know anything about movies. This movie is hysterical. Still quoted to this day. The cameos are fantastic. They're hilarious. This movie is a whole lot of fun. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that it had connections to Mel Brooks and to Blazing Saddles, but it makes sense now.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so unhappy. It's just been a rough,
Well, you know what? Go watch this movie, and you're going to feel a hell of a lot better. I promise.
Yeah,
you.
that's what I'm going to.
Hell of a lot better. It's light. It's easy. It's funny. You don't have. You can turn off your brain because this movie is fucking hysterical.
Well, that shot is very nice there. Danny DeVito is great.
D.A. Bird dies in commercial. Look, they pulled a picture of him from Taxi. It's not even. They're not even messing.
It's going to be great, man. I thank you for suggest.
Yeah.
But Mary Lou Henner is one of the hottest chicks in the world at the time on Taxi. Good Lord.
She's top notch in this. This movie, she was saying she was really excited to do this movie because she was known for the role that she played on Taxi, but she had been on Broadway, she had been doing musicals, she had been doing theater, and in this movie she got to sing, she got to dance, she got to perform, she got to do comedy. She looks really great. I mean, really, she's barely wearing any underwear in any of these scenes. So really, she's really this is probably top notch Mary Lou Henner, this movie right here. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton's never been funnier. Really, he's never been funnier than this movie.
Sounds great, man. Well, thank you, dude. Robert, what do you think about this movie? We'll just go down the line.
This is actually my first time seeing it all the way through. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I knew about the bargain sneaky passages. stuff, but I hadn't seen all of it, and it's hilarious. If you like the Naked Gun movies, if you like the Hot Shots movies, if you like Top Secret, you're gonna love this movie because it's a fun screwball comedy, and it's very sarcastic, and there are a lot of little subtle things in this movie that you'll catch when you watch it. So, like, if you read not only the headlines of the papers, but the other lines of the papers has some other stuff that's kind of funny. But the storyline is kind of your gangster movie storyline, and it pokes fun at the gangster movies with the big boss, and then the kid, and then the kid makes good, becomes the boss himself. You can take that out of just about any gangster movie, particularly like Goodfellas or whatever, and it kind of spoofs that. And that's what's so fun about this is that you're watching it, but you don't have to take it seriously. You're not waiting for some big, huge action shoot 'em up scene. You're waiting for the comedy and the spoof of that action scene, which is great. There's one scene where he's got to get back to the club and the other gang's trying to kill him, and just all the different kind of Looney Tune-esque things that they do to try and kill him is hilarious.
Yes.
And it's a fun movie. Get the popcorn out, put this movie in. If you're having a bad day, Doomcock, this is just one fun that you'll just have a blast, just laughing at and having fun. Michael Keaton's great. He's hilarious. And the story is just fun. It's not to be taken seriously. It's just go and have fun with each scene.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to watch and to do some of these slides for it. It was enjoyable. So,
just looking at like these slides, looking at that one right there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was shot on some of the backlots where these gangster movies were actually shot.
It was.
Yeah,
it was. It was shot at the Burbank Studios, and it was shot at which is Disney, and it was shot at Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it just looks exactly like it.
Yeah.
I was just looking at one of those gangster type movies late last night. It was on our Turner Classic Movies. Victor Mature as a gangster in 47. I can't remember the title of it, but yeah. Basically,
another funny thing about this movie is that Joe Piscopo and Michael Keaton are obviously wearing eyeliner. And, that was kind of a joke because in black and white movies, you don't really notice it so much. But in this movie, you completely notice it. It's kind of a throwback to the gangster movies. They used to wear that kind of makeup back in the 20s.
Yeah.
Which is very
looks
funny.
very weird.
Yeah, it is weird, but that's kind of like that was the idea of the joke. It's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. Also, the lady that plays the janitor lady in this, and she's hilarious in it. But I won't tell you what she says because she says things. But
don't give it away to him. He'll love that scene.
This is the last film for that actress. She passed away right before this movie was released.
God, look at her.
Even the parrot is funny in this movie.
Oh my god, the fucking parrot is so fucking funny. Dude.
There's one scene with the parrot, and
oh god,
hilarious. I'm not going to give away DC.
Yeah, yeah. The parrot's great, dude.
That's good, man. Mexican Iron Man. Anything to say about this movie?
I think he said to skip himself.
Okay,
so.
Scribe Light. Hey, man, have you seen this movie by any chance?
I did. I watched it this week. I'd seen it many, many years ago, but I watched it again early this week. When I'll try not to give too many spoilers. There are a couple of things I want to mention. First, just in general, after watching this, I had a sensation about watching a movie that I hadn't had in quite a long time, and that was the sense of innocence. The humor in this is just so. I mean, even though it's sending up mob movies and things, it's so sweet and pure. And just a fun movie. There's no edge to it. There's no pretense of being fully. I don't know how else to explain it. It was just like it took me back in a way to the movies I watched as a kid, which this one obviously wasn't because I wasn't old enough to watch it back then. But just it had a very, very light and sweet notion to it, even though it's all talking about goofy stuff. Yeah, like I said, it was like a Looney Tunes cartoon in places. So you could watch all this and just come away with a smile. When as I was watching it, and before I knew its backstory, as Gary related with the Mel Brooks connections, I thought to myself, maybe this should be called Mob Balls, or maybe Blazing. I thought Blazing Goombas or something.
Yeah.
That's a great one, Scribe Light. Blazing Goombas. I love it.
Yeah, Blazing Goombas. But a couple of things I wanted to know. First, a cameo that wasn't mentioned earlier. One of Maroney's men in the early scenes was Vincent Schiavelli, if I'm saying that correctly, who was the angry ghost in the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze, if you remember that. And he's a character actor that's been around for many years. I think he just passed away in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he did.
There was also, and this is just movie nerd stuff, I'm giving it away. I don't think I'm giving anything away, but at one point, one of the characters, Michael Keaton, he says, he warns his gang. He says, there's competition out there. There's Japanese gangs out there, faster and cheaper. And this was 2 years before Michael Keaton starred in a movie called Gung Ho, which was all about Japanese automakers coming in and taking American jobs, and a whole sort of comedy drama around that. So I don't know, just a weird thing I thought of when he said that. I was like, my brain's filled up with too much useless trivia. Oh man, there's a couple things I wanted to say, but I don't want to give any spoilers. It's just,
don't
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead and say it. Hey, I'll just take my headphones off for a sec. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll just say that this movie does meet the DEI requirements for the modern day, because mom is bisexual. I'll just say, that's all I'll say. Okay, I'll stop talking, give Doomcock a second to put his headphones back on.
That's funny.
So spoiler over?
Spoiler over, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I stopped talking to give you a clue. Otherwise, the only criticism I'd have, and I'm not going to give spoilers away about specific things, but they didn't go I kept thinking, especially in the early scenes, I was reminded of Top Secret for a lot of the visual gags and background things. And they didn't go hard enough into that, because then you get certain scenes that go on for many minutes, and I kept looking in the background for something, and there wasn't anything there. It was all just dialogue and situational, but that was the only sort of tonal inconsistency I sort of felt throughout the deal, is that I kept waiting for more really obvious visual gags or something else going on, and it became very sporadic after the first act or so, I'd say. You got some dramatic set pieces here and there, but otherwise, for like the really subtle stuff, I was hoping for some more police squad, Naked Gun kind of stuff in the background. But other than that, yeah, like I say, just a very, very sweet and innocent movie. And if you haven't seen it, if you can find it, that's the thing. That's the one thing too. It's like Gary said, I think right now, there's only like one outlet that I think you can find it streaming. Otherwise, you have to go find a copy.
I think Stars has it streaming.
Yeah.
That's it, though.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
One other thing, and I hate to do this, I do have to leave, unfortunately. I have to take off. I got to work in the morning and all that fun stuff.
Okay, Scribe.
Oh, hey, well, Scribe Light, man, it was really great having you on. I think you made some great points and excellent, reasoning out of these things. And really appreciate you coming on, and hope we can get you on again, my friend.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come on. I've been a big fan of the Doomcock channel for many years now, watching your behind-the-scenes stuff and rumor mill for Hollywood. So, thanks for the opportunity, and I'm glad to hang out with you guys.
Well, please go ahead and plug anything you would like to plug.
Well, let's see. I have a YouTube channel I've been running for just under 8 years now. I have a live series I do every Thursday called TED Excellence, where I take a look at TED and TEDx talks for education and entertainment purposes only. I also have a series that I've been starting recently. If you like true crime, I do a series called Living on Borrowed Crime, where I interview true crime content creators on YouTube and elsewise, and do direct interviews and panel discussions on various topics. Trying to get that one cooked up a bit more. I've got a playlist now. Tomorrow, I'll plug a friend real quick, not literally, but you know what I mean. Tomorrow for the debate coverage, I'll be on Sinatra Says channel, although his channel is called The Silent Sin, because Sinatra is a victim of the adpocalypse and several other YouTube chicaneries over the years. So he's had to change channels a couple times. But if you check out The Silent Sin tomorrow around debate time, I'll be on there with him to do some live commentary for the debate. So there's that. And and I'm on Twitter. Sorry, X. I'm on X. At scribe_light, capital S, capital L. And with that, everybody, thank you so much for having me on. Everybody else in the chat, thank you for sticking around and listening to all this, and hope you enjoyed it. And again, sorry for the crackling.
No, it wasn't. For me, it wasn't crackling. Some people did hear crackling. I didn't particularly. It just kind of. I think you were too close to the mic or something.
Yeah, years of live streaming, I get so paranoid about technical issues I have no control over. So.
Well, don't worry about it, but be careful tomorrow, because I understand that YouTube is ready to strike people doing anything on the debate. So
that's correct.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
I'll tread carefully, but thanks.
Don't
guys.
show shit. Don't show shit.
No. Well, I mean, in my case, I'll be on somebody else's channel, so the minefield is his. But I'll.
Okay.
Well,
you might caution him just to.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, he's an old veteran as well. We started around the same time, so.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Scribe Light. Appreciate having you on. It was great to have you.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good evening.
Take care, Scribe.
Good night, Scribe Light. And now back to the scantily clad Twinkie here.
Let's keep it on that. That frame is that's where
it's not moving. It's not moving. It must have frozen.
Yes, it's sad.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. So, but these things happen, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, me too. What do you think of this, Doug?
Well, I love the film, and I do keep it in the same approach as Airplane and Police Squad, Naked Gun, and that sort of thing. And I could see what Scribe was talking about, in that it doesn't go all the way there, but far enough in a lot of ways, with all the different gags in it and whatnot. But it's a fun romp. I was always kind of surprised that it just wasn't as popular as some of the others. I can't really figure out why. I don't know. I mean, some didn't get it or what. I don't know. But the eyeliner, I instantly understood what that was, because some of those movies you could see it.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's how we did our eyes in those days. That's no big deal.
Doug, it was originally rated R, and they had to cut a lot of scenes out of this movie to get a PG-13.
Jeez.
So there might have been a version that was a little more, raunchy, that we may have even enjoyed, even more.
I'm sure I would love to see the extended cut, but at the same time, I'm not even talking about what would get you an R rating. I just mean, like, he was talking about there's different sight gags and stuff, and when you rewatch some of those, paintings on the wall would be some sort of gag or whatnot, and that sort of thing. But all in all, it's really solid. It's just, with the bull coming through, a lot of people might not get that anymore. But still, it's like, hey, that's how you take care of that.
What are we drinking, Johnny? He's like, read the label. And then he runs away.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's so funny.
But it's a fun film, and of course it doesn't take itself seriously, yet at the same time it's very competent, as opposed to the crap we were reviewing earlier. It does resolve its plots.
Yes.
Everything is wrapped up. You're not left wondering this or that. So it's a fun, good film, and one of the best of that genre that I was describing. So there you go.
I feel pissed off that I didn't get a chance to watch it. It's just
you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it.
Oh, yeah. You'll feel better after you watch it after tonight. It's gonna bring your spirits up. You should watch it.
I do go back and watch the ones that I haven't had a chance. But it's hell on me. I don't have that much spare time, and if I gotta watch a movie and the Acolyte and Doctor Who, in a week, it gets challenging if I have anything else go wrong, and I had other stuff go wrong. So
Right.
anyway,
Well, thank
I'm
God
really
Doctor
looking
Who
forward
is over for the time being.
Oh, God almighty, that was a pile of fucking shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm just really glad that it severely damaged the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone dispute that? I mean, look at the
Oh,
views,
no, I mean,
look at the ratings. I think it really hurt them. I mean, not just
Yes.
like hurting us. I think it fucked the BBC. I think it fucked whoever has a stake in Doctor Who. Don't you think?
Oh, yes. It's just, you had that one inkling of hope that there might be some course change. And at best, I thought they would just do basic Doctor Who adventures. I wanted them to retcon Timeless Child and all that, but I knew they were never going to do it. If they just ignored it, that would have been, as a business wise and stuff like that, that would have been, the least of what they could do and perhaps limp along of a show like that. But no. And all hope is lost, and it's like Star Wars. It's another thing of violating the corpse, and that's all they're doing, and that's the case. I mean, it's like all this stuff about Acolyte. Well, this is it. Star Wars is dead, and I'm like, no, it already was. The Acolyte's another evidence again of violating the corpse of Star Wars, and that's all there is to it. The only thing to look at is just, well, how bad is it? Well, we've seen it. It doesn't even respect itself.
Right. I mean, it really is, Doug. That's a good way to put it. I mean, the Acolyte is more a symptom of Star Wars being dead. It's kind of like when a green leg falls off of a dead corpse. That's just an added bonus. That's just confirmation,
Hey, don't you think it's time to put that 6 feet under? It's starting to smell.
If you don't have a thermometer to stick up the corpse's ass, the leg falling off is a pretty good substitute.
Yeah. All right, we're going to call it.
Exactly. When you put the shock paddles on it and it splashes, that's a good sign. The rot has set in. Anything else to say about Johnny Dangerously, Doug?
No, that's it. I just highly recommend it. It's a fun movie. It's very funny. And especially, like I said, if you liked Airplane and Top Secret and all that sort of, you'll like this one.
I can't wait to see it. Andy, what have you got to tell us about this?
I love Marilu Henner.
Oh, God, me too.
Wow. I used to date a girl that looked a lot like her.
Wow.
You lucky prick. Wow.
Yeah. She had an identical twin sister. Occasionally at the pool, my mind would go places it shouldn't have. But yeah. Anyway, great movie. Great movie. But there is one big caveat to this. There's a lesson to be learned. Crime doesn't pay. Doomcock, you're gonna love this. You're gonna have so much damn fun with this thing. It's gonna be one of those ones where you just go back, you want to laugh, you're gonna pop this thing in. And it came out in '84. It was pretty quiet. It slipped by a lot of people. I didn't see this in the theater. I saw it on cable. We were over at my brother's-in-law's house, and this came on, and I laughed so hard. I didn't realize that I'd missed half the jokes because I was laughing too much until the second time I saw it. So you're really going to like it. The cameos in this are priceless. You have Ray Walston. Ray Walston is going to have you. I can't go into detail with it, but you just watch every time he comes on screen.
Yeah.
What's
great.
next?
Poor Ray Walston.
Then you turn around, and there's the judge, and it's the skipper from Gilligan's Island, Alan Hale Jr. He's I'm like, oh my God. You don't expect to see him. some of the scenes with, I mean, God, the parrot, like Robert said, the parrot's freaking hysterical, and you don't expect it. That's the funny thing. Like you see some of this stuff that happens, and you're like, you do a double take. Did that really happen? But yeah, you're gonna love this damn thing. It's like I think it's. I always like Michael Keaton better as a comedic actor than, although I do like him as a dramatic actor, but I just loved his comedy work. I thought he was so much fun to watch because it looked like he was really enjoying himself as he did the performance. And this is probably one of my favorites with him. He's and the one-liners that you're going to come out of this, like, this is one of the most repeatable things. My brother and I used to go back and like we had so many films that we would like work dialogue from and finish scenes from, and this was one of them. The fargan bastard and fargan ice hole.
That's the hard thing. We can't really go into like going over this now because we don't want to spoil it for Doom.
Right.
And the newspaper after he goes to the trial is hilarious too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the fucking newspapers, Doom, the newspapers come up on screen, they tell you what's going on. They're fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. Yeah. Very much looking forward to it. But yeah, I gotta say, Mary Lou Henner on Taxi was just ungodly gorgeous.
Wait till you see her in this, man. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anything else about this? No?
No.
All right, let's get to our last round of super chats here, shall we?
Super chats, mofo.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and get to the rest of your super chats. Thank you all for your patience. We appreciate it and hope that you're having fun tonight. Weird with a $5 Australian super chat. Thank you. Weird says, you might want to get into Warhammer, both 40K and fantasy, before Wokies destroy it beyond repair. Maybe try to do a lore reaction on Pop Culture Channel. I don't know that any of us really know a whole lot about Warhammer 40K. Is there anybody on panel that knows about this stuff? I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Not at all.
It's a shame because, I mean, it really is a major franchise that people love, but I just have never had the chance to really get into it. I was more a Dungeons and Dragons kind of guy,
Right. I've heard stories that, yes, woke is encroaching upon Warhammer just at the moment that poor Henry Cavill got the deal to do. They're probably going to get screwed on that too. So,
yeah, poor bastard. I feel sorry for him. He may walk if I don't think he wants to do another, Witcher situation. I think he's very sensitive to that. That was crap. God, it was awful. For him anyway. SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor with a $5 super chat. Thank you again, my friend. He says, rather watch Sev, Clone Commando, travel back into time and smurf out Alolite time period. He gets to the rebellion and fights for the rebellion. And he also adds, Bozo the Clown on Helium TV show. Way more fun. Thank you for that $2 super chat. SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor. I appreciate that very much, my friend. Thank you. And Captain Spire and August, an old Legionnaire of mine on patreon.com/Doomcock, and a hell of a friend. He made my shield for me. Thank you, Captain Spire, with two $20 super chats. God bless you, my friend. He says, I am baffled by the statement from a Jedi. I won't attack an unarmed foe. Do these assholes not understand that they can kill with their hands, the Force, timed explosives? Also, there is the fact they murdered hundreds already. And he also adds, also some other commentators compared the Force taco grinding, sorry, Mexican Iron Man, Wamazons to the Dathomirian witches. Forgetting that one light witch was after Luke for some hanky-panky, the witches were not lesbians. Well, these are, honey. These are. These witches are, but maybe not the witches of Dathomir. I'm not sure about that, but I think they're trying to basically conflate the two. You know, I mean, it's not just the fans or other websites or commentators, Captain Spire. I believe that what they're trying to do is lay these as the forebears of the Dathomirian witches that you're talking about. And what I've been told, what my spies have told me, and this is for going years back, that they're looking to basically get rid of the Force and replace it with the thread, and basically turn Star Wars into a witch-centric, gynocentric, female-centric Disney princess show. So we'll see if they can pull that off, but that's at least what I have been told repeatedly is the intention. I guess only time will tell. Michael Beacom, hail to Michael Beacom with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael. He says, I have been bullied for sci-fi since before May of 77. This reeks of the same sadistic attacks once relegated to the playground, now amplified by wealth. Yeah, me too, Michael Beacom. You know, before being a geek was cool, a lot of us took shit for it in school. I mean, I don't know how many of you on the panel took shit for reading comics and liking Star Trek and Star Wars, but Doomcock certainly did. And you're right, Michael. This does smack of that bullshit. It really does. These people, they have a deep-seated hatred of us for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. But this has been a thing for quite a while, and I'm sick to fucking death of it. Smith Barron with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Smith Barron. Says, small gripe, IIRC, cortosis would be very brittle and hard to shape. So if it's fragile, why'd Mir's armor look like it was shaped by a hammer? Bad writing, bad art direction, because they kind of wanted it to be evocative of Kylo Ren and Darth Vader's helmet. And they missed on both counts. You know, it's just bad. There is no why, Smith Barron. There's no why. It's just because they suck, and they use things without understanding them. I think that's what it is, Smith. That's what I think it is. Thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. Demo Man Chaos with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Demo Man Chaos. Says, has DC and Andy tried Tullamore Dew Honey? Too good. Andy Masterson, I've never heard of Tullamore Dew Honey. Have you?
I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah. I love Tullamore Dew. I absolutely love it. And I've run out of it. I'm going to have to go to the liquor store and buy me some. I've drunk it all. But I will look for Tullamore Dew Honey, for God's sakes. Jesus.
Yeah, I got to try it.
Demo Man Chaos in the chat says, Tullamore Dew Honey really is too good. Andy, we're missing out, dude.
Not for long.
Yeah, not for long. Holy shit. Evan Peterson with a $2 super chat. Thank you. Evan says, Andy are outfitting Daleks with fezzes and Legalade. So are you outfitting Daleks with fezzes? And I'm not sure what legal aid? Oh, legal aid.
Oh. Fezzes, huh? I don't know. Like Harvey's kids are usually taking up all of the fezzes lately. And so if he would just stop procreating, we might have some left for the Daleks.
There you go.
Boy, Harvey's going to have it in for you on Friday. I'm just telling you.
He's
all
just
this stuff with.
He's just mad because I taped that picture of Maury Povich to his containment field.
Oh, you're the one that did that. Oh shit! When I tell him that, oh, he's going to be pissed, dude. He's going to be pissed. You're going to need that Tullamore Dew Honey because go get some quick. Do the Evolution 78 with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Do the Evolution says, great stream tonight. Push the button. Free Harvey. Thank you. Do the Evolution 78. Fortunately, I am not yet so angry as to be able to push the button, but I'm getting close, man. I am getting very, very close. Mark D with a C with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mark. He says, hail everyone. Back from Clobby's funeral. Thanks for all the support. His family was really touched and had no idea how many people loved him on YouTube. I just hope that Clobby himself knew how many people he had that loved him, because he was a generous, wonderful guy who did great YouTube content. He really should have had a lot more subs than he had. It's a damn shame, but I hope he at least knew that we all loved him. God bless you, Clobby. We miss you, man. And thank you, Mark D with a C. Crimson Phantom with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says, I made a prediction on how Doctor Who final would end. I was so wrong about how bad it was. I wish I was right. Listen to all you cannot predict, stupid. Yeah, it's probably even worse than you could have possibly imagined, Crimson Phantom. It's yeah, well, I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm still speechless by what I saw. Dark Saber Force with a $10 super chat. Thank you, oh Dark One. Says, yesterday was my birthday. Happy birthday, Dark Saber Force. And my gift was, for you heavy metal fans, the Black Sabbath box set Anno Domini with the long out-of-print albums by Tony Martin, the second longest Sabbath singer after Ozzy. Wow, a complete Black Sabbath box set. Black Sabbath. Outstanding, Dark Saber Force. Congratulations and happy birthday, my friend. Everybody, please, in the chat, wish Dark Saber Force a happy birthday if you would. And Jack White with a string. Holy smokes, Jack White. You're a producer. In fact, you may be an executive producer on Pop Culture Breakdown tonight. A $20 super chat, a $10 super chat, a $5 super chat, a $10 super chat, another $10 super chat, and a $5 super chat. Good Lord, Jack. Good Lord, dude. I'm going to read all of these together. I think they all go together. But I just wanted to say, executive producer Jack White says here in a very long series of super chats, Sargon also did a good video about human resources and why it's BS. And DC, you should also check Rurouni Kenshin, the original manga, and the new anime adaptation from last year, and the next season of it will air in October. And he says, I'm just watching A Dream I Never Wake Up From, Spike Spiegel, and check out Mission Yozakura Family and Banished from the Hero's Party. So I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. And check out the Devil May Care series of games. Yes, I've heard this, Jack. Great action games, and check out the Gravity Rush games. Also a lot of fun. Oh, and Persona series. And Jack adds, and DC, you asked in your video today where you talked about, oh, it wasn't today. He says, and DC, you asked in your video where you talked about Sweet Baby Inc. uglifying Jean Grey and making her and other female characters look like men. Just look into Simone de Beauvoir and her history, because she is where this stuff originates from. And she wrote a book called The Second Sex, which feminists have called the feminist Bible. Basically, she lost the looks game badly and was a Marxist. She looked like a dude, and she abused her position as a college professor to force her female students to sleep with her.
Ew.
And then Jack, I mean, wow. And Jack adds with another $10 super chat and a $5 super chat. Definitely an executive producer tonight, folks. He says, she looked like a dude and she abused her position as a college professor to force her female students to sleep with her, and she was attracted to kids. She signed a letter with a group of French academics that they sent to the French government that called on them to lower the age of consent from 15 to 13. Oh my God. To the point of abolishment, and a lot of these so-called progressive theories originate from some of the biggest degenerates of the 20th century.
Wow.
Jack knows a lot of shit, guys.
Yeah, he does.
Damn, Jack. Thank you, my friend. We always appreciate your perspective and your education. Simone de Beauvoir, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and Google this, courtesy of Jack White. I'm going to put the spelling in the chat here. It's important to know where this sick shit comes from, you know? I really think it's a valuable service that Jack is providing. Thank you, Jack. And Some Ting Wong has renewed their channel membership at the 2 million level. Thank you, Some Ting Wong. Oh, shit, I wish I had my gong on me. I don't. Thank you, Some Ting Wong. And Wayu Hatan with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says, are the lizard men attacking you again, Doom? They're always having low-level raids and so on. I mean, that's just standard operating procedure down here at the center of the earth, Wayu Hatan. But thank you for asking. At the moment, everything is fine. And Mike D with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Mike. Says, anime manga recommendation, Bio Booster Armor Guyver. Bio Booster Armor Guyver from Mike D. Thank you very much, Mike D. Hail to you. And I want to thank everybody out there in the chat. I want to thank all of our panelists. And I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Let's go ahead and have everyone plug whatever they would like to plug. Gary, got anything to plug tonight? Oh, shit. I meant to make him big, and instead I removed him. Gary, what would you like to plug tonight? Anything?
Just like to say thank you to the chat and to the wrenches, all the work that you guys do. We love you. Hail to you. We hope that you had fun tonight. We know that you have a choice in where you spend your time, and we are absolutely thrilled that you have chosen to spend it with us. So thank you once again. We will be back next week. Don't know what the movie is, but we're going to figure that out tonight. Also, Robert and I are going to be in Knoxville at the Fanboy Expo on July 12th, 13th, and some of Sunday morning, which is the 14th. So if you guys are in the area, come on down and hang out with us. Until then, we love you guys. Stay angry. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it, sir. Robert Wright, go ahead and plug away, Robert. Anything you'd like to plug?
Yes. Well, as you can see, I've got Harvey's kids. Hey, wait a minute. Get off the liquor. Come on, man. I've got several of Harvey's kids, and if you see us at the Knoxville Fanboy Expo, you too can adopt one of Harvey's spawn here, and maybe sue him for the child support.
Fuck you. Fuck you, asshole.
So come see us at the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville, July 12th through 14th. I also have a channel, Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture. This past Sunday, we had a great, wonderful live stream that's still up on there about the music from 1984, the top 40. So check that out. Also, I've got a video coming up about Terminator 2, just facts and figures about that movie. If you love that movie, check it out. It should be posted sometime tomorrow or Friday. And don't forget, Friday Night Frolics right here on Doomcock's channel. We have a lot of fun. Doomcock sings some amazing songs. Harvey tells some awful jokes. And we have just a blast in the chat with super chats. It's a lot of fun. Join us on Friday night. It's a great way to start your weekend.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate the plug, and good luck with that channel, man. Everyone subscribe to Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture. It's a good one. Mexican Iron Man, hail to you, my friend. Anything you would like to plug, my friend, now that Doctor Who and the Acolyte have basically ruined our lives?
Yeah, well, membership has its privileges on this channel. Doomcock, despite the overwhelming amount of work that he has to do, still finds time to do member live streams at the Archvillain level. Those are always fun. So become a member, do it at the top level. I've been here for a long time, I think 5 years, 4 years, something like that. And encourage
long time, my friend.
Encourage even longer on Patreon, I think. So I encourage
Yes.
everybody to be a member at the highest level. Membership has its privileges, and everything he says that he's going to do, he does do. I think he does too much, but you know, what am I going to do? You can't stop an overlord from taking over the world. So thanks for having me, Doomcock. If I'm not here, I'm probably on Midnight's Edge or Midnight's Edge After Dark with Tom and Andre.
Thank you very much, Mike. And Douglas Nelson, aka Mr. Nelson, of the NelsonRatings.locals.com. When he is not frozen in time like he was on that picture, he is busy creating all sorts of amazing content. Robert, tell us about it.
Well, he's got some awesome comics called Night Nights.
No, I didn't mean Robert. I meant Douglas. Excuse me. I was just showing you, and I.
Well, Robert
Go
can
ahead, Douglas.
demonstrate the visual aids to show you what a night comic book is. And there they are. And you too can be like Robert and have your collection of night comics alongside his adopted Harvey kids. But head over to indieplanet.com and look up Night and get yourself some Night Comics based on my audio plays of the same name, which are regularly featured on my podcast, The Mr. Nelson Show, from radiomisfits.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And recently did one with Doomcock playing a character, and I put on my YouTube channel, the Nelson Ratings, the fully edited together story of that narrative with Night versus the Penny Pitcher. And so enjoy that. And yes, you can check out the Nelson Ratings for all my wonderful reviews and whatnot. I don't know why you'd want to compound your misery with reviews on Doctor Who and Acolyte, but those are both up there. No sense plugging that because, well, I don't know about Acolyte, but Doctor Who is pretty jolly well plugged. So anyway,
Roger that.
Indeed, over. But anyway, oh yeah, and finally, my locals page, the NelsonRatings.locals.com, for any extra Nelson needs that you may have. Well, you can fulfill them over there.
Thank you, Douglas Nelson. I appreciate the plug, sir, and great work. It was great doing a voice for you. Hope I did a good enough job, and
you
hope
did.
you're happy with it.
Oh, I am very much so. It worked out very well.
I'm glad. I'm relieved because I was a little worried. And Andy Masterson, go ahead and plug away, buddy.
You get in there with Mr. Weinstein the Hut if you ever want to work in this galaxy again.
Hello, everyone.
Wow. Jack off the Hut.
Did you give Harvey a little micro penis? Yep.
Well,
oh boy, Gary, you're okay. Harvey's gonna, yeah. Go ahead, Andy.
Not this Harvey.
Yeah, not Cthulhu.
Oh, him.
Not the
yeah.
deadbeat
Okay.
dad. The
the
pimp
other guy.
Yeah.
I won't
It's
roll
hard
him
to
over.
find in the folds.
Wash
What do you
this.
do? Job reference. When you find it, instant job reference. Go ahead.
Hashtag me too. I make lovely toys like this. Like this priceless Doomcock action figure. And sometimes my sense of humor goes in very, very dark places, which is probably why I'm here. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We certainly had a great time. Well, except for the suffering of watching Doctor Who and the Acolyte. We have, 3 more episodes of the Acolyte to go, so you get to tune in and share in our suffering vicariously as we watch this train wreck that I guess somebody says is really good, but it's not me. Make sure you check back with us next week for another episode of Pop Culture Breakdown.
Thank you, Andy, and you're just getting better all the time, man. That's a hell of a collection of toys you've got there, and I've got a great collection that you've sent me so kindly, sir. Thank you. I love them. That Doomcock action figure is incredible. All right, well, we had just a couple more super chats come in. Adam has been a Doomentine of mine for 10 months, and he says, you can totally call me Thith. And then had a little picture of a blonde Harvey. Thank you, Thith, and we appreciate it. Jack White with 3 more super chats, 2 $5 super chats and a $2 super chat. Jack, you are too generous, sir. God bless you, not only for the advice but also for the support. He says, and check out the series Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World and Full Metal Panic and redo of Healer. Did you see the latest Miyazaki movie, The Boy and the Heron? It has a Blu-ray, I think, next month, and another series recommendation, To Love Rue. I haven't actually seen The Boy and the Heron. I've seen a lot of Miyazaki, but I did not see that one. I do need to see it, though. I mean, I've heard it was really, really good. And Jack White says, I think Date Alive aired its last episode today. No shit, so the series is complete, Jack. Well, I like that. I like it when a series is complete and I can actually watch it to the end. I think that's fantastic. That's the way to go. That really is an enticement to me. Because I hate, waiting, years between seasons for things. Who has the time for that? And Lance, with a $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Lance. Says, hail the panel, past and present. Hail the chat and our dear absent friends. Hail all of Harvey's kids and child support's relentless person.
And hail to my foot connecting solidly with your ass, Lance. Fuck you, man. I don't got any kids. I certainly am not paying any child support. Even if I had kids, I wouldn't pay child support. You know why? Because I'm not a sucker. Oh.
Well, I've had to take off my helmet because I'm sweating so bad. Thinking about all the hate and all the lawsuits that are going to descend on Harvey after that comment. Oh, dear. He is such a scofflaw. He really is. He's a deadbeat. Yes, Jonah Heck says deadbeat Harvey. He really is. He really is. And Jack White with a $2 super chat. Thank you again, Jack. He says, Andy, start collecting Gundam figures. I don't know, Andy. You don't even watch Gundam, do you?
I do not know.
Yeah, I've never seen Gundam. I think it's more giant robot stuff. Oh, look at this.
Yep.
Look at that. Cthulhu Patch Kids.
Man, there aren't enough fucks in the English language that have been spoken to direct on. What the fuck is that? What's he wearing on his fucking head? What is that? Like a flattened fez or some kind of?
No, that's a girl. That's a girl, Harvey. She's got to wear a bow.
Oh, for fuck's sake! A bow?
Yeah. You can't have your daughter cross-dressing
your
as
daughter.
Fuck you, man. Y'all are assholes.
Well, Harvey, that's what happens when you're not involved in your daughter's life.
Mm-hmm.
If only you had a cortosis condom.
For shame.
I wish I'd never heard of where the catarsis is, then I wouldn't have this trouble.
Shit. All right. Well, that's the facts of life here in Xanadu. Cthulhu Patch Kids. Oh dear. You are what's it say?
You are the legal guardian of this eldritch squidlet.
Yeah. Legal guardian accepts all responsibility for a potential cataclysmic or world-ending events. You may be entitled to monetary compensation from Harvard J. Cthulhu.
Fuck! You bullshit! Hey,
It's in writing.
if they adopt whatever, then that's up to them.
It's legal.
That's not my problem. And a little Miss Bow on her fucking head can take to the fucking pole. That's how you
Man.
support yourself. The pole.
Oh my God.
That's right.
It's good to see that you're not so discriminatory, Harvey. You got all colors of the rainbow there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh, very
Harvey's been
honorable.
around.
Look at that. Look at that.
What
A pink
you
and orange
Man,
one.
Harvey gets
Wow.
around.
Motherfuckers.
Wow.
Look at this.
Oh, a
Fucking-
little blue one too.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's nice to know I shoot rainbow sperm, you fucking
Yeah.
assholes.
Blue squids matter.
You bullshit. I never fucked anyone blue in my life. That's
Apparently, that's not true.
crooked. Fuck you. All right. That's it. We're gonna end this before Harvey tries to break out and destroys the whole universe.
That or before Robert has a heart attack. Jeez,
Yeah,
buddy.
no.
Easy to breathe.
He
Okay.
just thinks it's so fucking. Yeah, I think it's so fucking funny. Hey, asshole! I'm gonna start digging around for like girls that look like you. I'm gonna look for little girls that look like Robert in a wig. Fuck you.
Wow.
I know they're out there.
Harvey, look at that. You even fucked the marshmallow man.
Man,
Look at that.
Oh dear.
Look at that. Wow. You have no boundaries, Harvey.
You guys are such liars,
No
scumbags. I'm gonna sue for definition of character.
Yeah.
I mean defamation. Fuck.
Hey, did
Uh-oh.
you guys ever hear the girl that Harvey wouldn't bang?
No.
Yeah, me either.
Fuck you, asshole. All right, that's it. I'm gonna retaliate in some terrible way. Just wait.
All right. Well, he's already nice cooking up his revenge. What are we gonna do? In the meantime, Jack White with a $2 super chat says, Andy, watch Gundam as well. So you have been scolded by Jack. He bids you to watch Gundam, so you better watch Gundam, and not condom. Gundam, different. And Wes Cagle with a $3 super sticker of Bushiba waving bye-bye. Thank you very, very much, Wes Cagle. We appreciate you, buddy. Good night to you. Good night to all of you out there in Xanadu. Please enjoy your life before Harvey destroys the universe, baited by all of these terrible, terrible people. And hope to see you on Friday night for Friday Night Frolics. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and Harvey Cthulhu's kids. Asshole! Bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Good night, everybody. And thanks to all my wrenches for doing such a great job. Love you all. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody, you fuckers. Good night, all.